Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the International Women of Blockchain event. This is our last NF Tuesday. It's also our last week for this event. We've been running all throughout the month of March, and we started March 1st, and we're going to go to March 31st, which is right around the corner. Really excited that we were able to present this event to you, which showcased various women from all across the globe who are participating somehow, some fashion in the blockchain ecosystem that we're building. And if anything that you gain from this event is that there are women in this space. We're here. We may not be loud. We may not be, outspoken. We may not sell out in our pieces. We may not, shout it from the rooftop. Or we may be overshadowed, but we are here. And I'm very excited that we are here to be able to show that women are represented in the blockchain ecosystem and we're represented in the appropriate way. And we're also contributing to the way that we create and grow this ecosystem. Our voices are very much important and we're lending it whenever we can. Just make sure that you see us and you celebrate us and you encourage us to come into this space. So with that said, I want to invite you guys to experience a wonderful NF Tuesdays. We have a few more ladies who are going to showcase their work, and also IWBC, along with BWBC, has some artwork in order to present to you guys as well. But before that, I want to bring up Ava. Now, Ava, she's doing something special, and I can't wait for you guys to hear about this, because one thing that we know about this space is that it's could be built the way that we want it to be built. And we have to build it in a way that it's inclusive and it represents a lot of people in this space. So without further ado, Ava, welcome to the stage and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm admiring your beautiful words whilst I'm in the background dealing with the technical issues, but I think my PowerPoint's loading now. But thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
We're excited to have you. Go ahead and introduce yourself and we will upload your PowerPoint.
Perfect. I think it's almost there. But yes, hi everyone. I'm Ava. I am a computer science student from London. And I am also the founder of RXV, which is the very first NFT collective for neurodivergent artists. So neurodivergence is any disability or condition which involves different brain functions. So it's like an umbrella term for autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder, synesthesia, all those types of conditions. It started off as a very small project in my bedroom here, but it's actually now grown and it's going to soon become the first ever DAO for disabled people. Onboarding any minorities onto new technology is something very important to me, and especially the disabled community. And I'll talk about it a bit more in my presentation, but this was all inspired and motivated by my big sister, Tara, who's autistic and an incredible artist. And hopefully my presentation, it says processing, but oh, there we go. My presentation there. Perfect. Good. I've been grappling with this presentation. But yes, like I said, with the very first NFT collective for neurodivergent artists. And so when I first entered this space, as we know, there's a long way to go with inclusion and diversity. But when we think about inclusion and diversity, we often think about onboarding women, which of course is extremely important. And there is, of course, a long, long way to go. But there does now exist quite a few communities, collectives, and projects and DAOs which do serve this group of people. Of course, this one being a very important one in itself. But often other minorities kind of get left behind or don't get the same attention. And one that I'm extremely passionate about is the disabled community. So that's where the name RXV comes from. XV is the Roman numerals for 15, and that represents 15% of the world that is disabled. That is the absolute largest minority group in the entire world. That is over 1 billion people. Over 1 billion people in this world are disabled. And this is a huge, huge group that are extremely underrepresented in the art world, in culture, in media, and a huge group who don't really have a base to look to when they want to be onboarded onto Web3. So how did this all start? I spoke a bit about my sister Tara. So my big sister Tara, we're extremely close. She is an incredible, incredible artist. And The interesting thing about Tara is that Tara is nonverbal. So Tara, since she was born, hasn't said a single word. But nobody can tell me that her art isn't her voice, isn't her communication, and isn't her expression. And that to me is what is really important and really special about art. So I've got these 3 pictures up here, just something a little different. We have Leonardo da Vinci on the right, we have Andy Warhol in the middle, and we have Picasso on the left. And apart from being great icons, incredibly influential artists of their time, there's one thing that these 3 artists have in common, and that is that they were all thought to be neurodivergent. So Picasso and Leonardo da Vinci were described at school as reading blind, which is now known as dyslexia, and Andy Warhol in the middle was thought to be autistic. And having this different brain function, having this unique look at the world, not just in terms of how your brain functions, but also your experience living in this world. You know, the things that minorities experience is entirely unique to anyone else. These 100% influence that art heavily. For example, with dyslexia, Picasso, when he was younger, had a lot of trouble with the orientation of words on the page. And I mean, look at his art. It just makes complete sense. So this isn't just a project where we're saying, you know, do a good deed and support a minority. I really believe that the art world is missing out on incredible neurodivergent art. So I'll show next. This is a tiny little sample of our artists' work. We have 20 neurodivergent artists from all around the world, different ages, different genders, sexual orientation, ethnicities, experience with the art world. They're such a diverse bunch, and that's what makes their work so incredible. I mean, look at that. I have no doubt that these artists could be the next Picassos, the next Leonardo da Vinci's, or the next Andy Warhols. They have absolutely everything that it takes. What they don't have is the opportunities, the tools and the platforms and the exposure to get their work out there. So I want to talk about something which actually links to the story of Tara, and how did I go from being just a proud sister to my sister to Tara sharing her work with the world, but then coming to NFTs. So what happened is that I actually tried to get Tara's work seen by a lot of traditional art galleries. This is before I knew what NFT even was. And the attitude from people in the traditional art world when they found out she was disabled was very different. You saw a shift in attitude, and it became very much more about not taking Tara seriously, but seeing her as kind of a charity case. Why doesn't she join a charity and, you know, make work there? Why doesn't she make little postcards and sell them on Etsy? And it was very clear that Tara was not seen as a legitimate artist, and that's something that all of our artists in our collective have collectively experienced. So if anyone goes away with anything today during this talk, I would love for it to be the social model of disability. So when we look at disability, traditionally we've been taught the medical model. So we have this gentleman in a chair. He can't go up the stairs because he's in a wheelchair. What do we think? Oh, his legs don't work. He's impaired. This is not his fault, but it's something that is wrong with him. Whereas I would love for the whole world to shift to this social model of disability. And this is a really growing movement in the disabled community. And I would love for it to be a growing movement worldwide amongst everyone. Is that our world, like many other minorities, our world is not built for the disabled community. Our world is not built for this sector, this minority. And that's why disabled people face so many hurdles. Because with attitude barriers, with physical barriers, with organizational barriers, how can you expect people to thrive in this world, to thrive in the art world? And that goes for physical barriers. A lot of venues in the art world are not accessible. Organizational barriers, doing those long, lengthy art applications to be part of art institutions. And then also attitude barriers, which is something that I experienced when I was promoting my sister's work. So with all this being said, all these hurdles that I've seen with my very own eyes, where do I turn to get all these incredible art seen by the world? Web3, here we are. So I knew that we needed to find a new community, one that was forward thinking, one that embraced change, one that strayed away from archaic systems where you've got this elitist central body making all these decisions, and typically they're very old-fashioned and out of date. So all of this is what we needed, and the response from the Web3 community has been fantastic. I was a bit apprehensive just because the world is generally quite unkind at times, but the reaction has been incredible, and it's such a special community. And then in terms of in general, I really believe that Web3 is going to be enormous for the disabled community, because with all those barriers that I described before, you don't have those with Web3. You have culture, you have art, you have community, you have income, you have all of that at your doorstep. So I think if we give the right tools to the disabled community to thrive in this space, oof, who knows where they can take it. So just a little bit about us. So our community, like I said, we've got artists from all over the world. We are actually having a project with Google Arts and Culture soon, which will come out in about a month. And that is going to be just their time to shine. I know I don't like speaking on behalf of them because I think it should come from them themselves. That is a problem with the disabled community, that often people speak on behalf of them. So this is their chance to really tell you about themselves, their art, their work, their struggle. So I'm so excited to show that to you all once it comes out. And this is something that I wanted to touch on as well, is that our community, our NFT collective, our DAO, is not just for disabled people, it's not just for neurodivergent people. It is for everyone, because there is this unspoken of segregation between disabled and non-disabled people, both physical and in terms of attitude. 2/3 of people feel awkward around disability. This is in the UK. That is an uncomfortable statistic to hear, but it's reality, and it's such a shame. And I really believe this is the case, not because people are horrible, but because the disabled community is hidden away. Whether that's they're put in care homes, they're put in hospital units unnecessarily, whether that's the media not showing off the vibrant community that is a disabled community. This has created this strange divide. And I would love for the Web3 community, one that is so open to change, one that's so open, one where you can be as visible or invisible as you want. And it's really changing what it means to be part of a community. I would love for this community to be the one that brings together these two groups of people and really achieves real change. It's not just NFTs, it's not just pretty pictures and art. So just to finish off, I want you to meet a few of the artists because I absolutely adore them. It's not just their art, their stories, their personality. They are the most vibrant, incredible group, and perhaps I'm biased because I've onboarded all of them, but they're really special to me. And just for you to see how neurodivergence leads to incredible art. So here we have Jay Quinn. He's from Nashville, Tennessee. He has a condition called synesthesia, which is that basically means where one piece of information that's meant to simulate one sense, it simulates many senses. And this is a diagnosed neurodivergence. And what that means is that when Jay Quinn looks at art, hears music, he directly sees color and pattern, and he directly sees art. And I think that's just incredible. I don't know why there aren't more artists out there with synesthesia. Perhaps there are and we don't know about it. But just that, hear a sound and for it directly come onto the page and create incredible art like this, it's just amazing. And you can see the different genres and the different art and patterns and kind of just absolute charisma it produces. It is out of this world. And then we have someone entirely different. We have Amanda. She's from New York City. Like many of us, she really struggled during lockdown with her mental health and just dealing with the events that were unfolding. And Amanda's autistic. And Amanda has said a really beautiful quote in the past. She said that autism is a part of me and therefore it's a part of my art. And you can just see this art. It is completely different to Jay Quinn. It's gritty, it is powerful, it's uncomfortable at times, but it's the reality of what we all went through during the pandemic. And it's just absolute powerful art. It's really incredible. And then we have Philip. Philip has been all over with the military, but he has ADHD, and all of his work touches on his experiences with ADHD. And it's not moving. This art, if you saw it on like a proper presentation, it basically zooms in and in constantly. And it's just really trippy work, and it's awesome. And then finally, we have Caleb. So Caleb is very dear to my heart. Caleb is autistic, diagnosed quite later on in life, and he does these incredible pieces. He's from Yorkshire in England. Amazing. And this is all stippling. So this is all just like dot, dot, dot all over the page. And he didn't think he could do art at all. And this was just kind of therapy for him. And it just catapulted into this incredible talent and gift. And what I really love about Caleb's story is that we, a few months ago, had our very first IXB meetup. We all joined on Google Meets. We all came together. We all decided to meet everyone for the first time and have a chat. And Caleb wasn't very keen on the idea. He actually opened up to me that in 17 years, he hadn't spoken to anyone besides his parents, his family, and his one best friend. And I really had to beg him to come. I told him, just switch your microphone off, switch your webcam off, just come, just please come and listen. And I can really try to convince him. And he turned up in the end. And, I was just listening to all the artists talk amongst each other, giving them their space. And I then noticed, I heard a voice, and I noticed that Caleb not only turned on his microphone, but he turned on his webcam. And for the first time in 17 years, he spoke to a group of people and he really engaged in conversation. And it was just this incredible bond that formed. And to me, that is the power of IXV. It's not just art, it's community. It's giving these people a platform that they've never had before. It is giving them the platform to talk from their own voice and their own thoughts and feelings. And it's just all about bringing people together, investing in these people's careers, and really, letting the world know that we embrace the disabled community as part of our society. Thank you everyone for listening. And if you're interested, our website is rxbnft.com. I would love to see you there and on our Discord. And thank you for having me.
Avad, this was fantastic. I love all of this. I it's really important to make sure that the space is inclusive and that it does cater to everyone's need. As you know, we're building this ecosystem, right? Is there something that we as people can do? Because I know, like in this space, we ask artists to do so much, right?
Yeah.
People are creating roadmaps of what an artist is supposed to do, and a lot of the times it could be overwhelming, right? Because it's constantly being on stage, shilling your work, and all these things. I am an introvert, unbeknownst to a lot of people. I can talk about a whole lot of different things that I'm passionate about, but when it comes to things that are near and dear to me, I go into my shell, right? And so I'm not the type of artist that will go on stage and talk about me and all the work and everything. And I admire those people that do. But in this space, like giving that, there's a lot that's required of an artist in order for their work to sell. Like, how do you encourage your cohorts to be able to step into this extroverted space, right?
Yes, that's such a great question. Honestly, power to everyone who's an introvert and in Web3, because oof, it is chaotic. There is a lot going on, and that's actually was the case for our artists. So a lot of them didn't even want to be on, for example, a Google Meets chat with each other, let alone going on stage to the world. And as a result, you saw the incredible art. A lot of them had like 200 followers on Instagram. That's how exposed they were to the world. So that's the thing with our artists. I know Web3 is fast, but I've actually taken a different approach and gone quite slow. So we have been running for, I think, 10 months now, a lot of partnerships and things like that. But I think there's two things: taking it slow and not being afraid to say no to opportunities. Opportunities come, they are a lot there. So don't feel the pressure to say yes to everything, even though I really sympathize with artists because the space is saturated and sometimes it feels like you can't get your work or your voice out there. But also I think kind of as somebody who's sort of running this community, just to have patience. Deadlines aren't always met. Things aren't always going to work out. It's fine. I think realizing that the world's not going to end is very important. But for artists, I would really, if there is a good agency that will support you and not exploit you, I would definitely go there, because there's power in numbers, there's power in community, and to have other people vouching for you is very important. And sometimes artists are too modest, so they need to they need to back themselves up more. So if there's someone like me to do it, then all for the better.
Awesome. I love it. We have a few questions, and I think this is very important, right? Because we've spoken to a whole lot of different artists and a lot of women who are building platforms and building, opportunities for everyone. And I think this subject alone is very important because some people may not see themselves as a neurodivergent artist, but the more and more we talk about it, I think people will start to see that there are some traits. So, I know you mentioned autism is one. Are there other ways to identify whether you're neurodivergent?
Yeah, so it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I think the number of neurodivergent people just in the world is really increasing. And I think that's because we have better diagnosis, and people are, taking that step to do it. So with RXV in particular, we don't require diagnosis, because I know that healthcare is not what it is in different countries. So it really is whether you identify as neurodivergent or not. But what I think is really a beautiful trend is that people are very open with it, and they're proud of it. It's funny, there's so many people with ADHD in the Web3 space, and I think it almost attracts that personality type. And people might not put it in their bio. Neurodivergence, like anything, has different magnitude in terms of your identity. So they might not have it, waving the flag, but when you speak to them, so many people are like, oh, I have ADHD, actually, I would love to be a part of it. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? There's so much we don't know. We're continuing to learn, but yeah, but I love this shift from it going to be like, oh, disability is a bad word, to actually no, it's just a diversity, and that's what I love. It's in the name, isn't it? Neurodiversity.
Yeah. No, I love it. And it's also fascinating to learn about history, of some of the artists that you showcase, right? Because I didn't know that Andy Warhol was autism. But however, you like, it seems to be a lot of artists that are neurodivergent, like they can bring their craft out in such an elaborate way. Like your students, all of them have a way of expressing themselves that, I guess physically they couldn't, right?
Yeah.
Or verbally they couldn't, but in their artwork, they're bringing forth such elaborate pieces, and that's beautiful, right? And it's the way that they talk to society in a way. It's their form of speaking. So
Yeah.
have
And
go ahead.
no, I'm just completely agreeing with you. And even neurodivergence, within neurodivergence, it's so diverse, it's so vast. Even within autism, you have people like Amanda, for example. I actually met her in New York. We went out for a coffee. She told me all about her work. And then you have people like my sister Tara, who is nonverbal. But yeah, exactly. It's their way of communicating with the world. And something that's very important to me is when I tell people that my sister doesn't speak, they think she's very quiet and timid. It's very funny. Tara is the loudest, most vibrant person I know. I 100% live in her shadow. She is one of those people that gravitates, everyone gravitates to her, everyone loves her. And her work is that it's loud, it's bold. But that's the thing. It's such an interesting thing looking at history and kind of picking out, actually, wait, this person could be neurodivergent. But honestly, it's not long ago that autism and schizophrenia were put in the same category. It was there's such a long way to go with discovering more about neurodivergent people, that history is in itself going to be a bit not so clear. But yeah, and there's so many more out there. But that's the thing, neurodivergence. Like I said, society is not built to support neurodivergent people. So anything we can do to propel them, then all for the better.
Awesome. So I do have a few questions. So how can parents, family members get involved, or is it for just people with disability?
Yeah, so the actual NFT collective, the art, is for neurodivergent artists, but by all means, our collective is for everyone. So people who are family members, carers, siblings, people who are part of the wider disabled community, people that just love art. It's amazing art in its own right. People that love supporting minority groups. It is really for everyone. We even have people part of our community that just want to learn more and just think it's a cool initiative. And when you meet the artists is on Discord on that Google project, you'll see they're such an interesting bunch. We have one guy called Moontain. He's French. He like talks in poetry. It's such a cool group of people. I can't wait for the world to discover them. But yes, by all means, everyone join in.
Awesome. Now we will post all of the information in chat. I'm sorry, in Discord. But if you can give me the website again for those who are interested in checking it out, I'll go ahead and put it in chat.
Yes, I'll put it in the chat as well. It's artxvnft.com. Let me put that in there. That website is under construction and will launch today, very excitingly.
Awesome.
I think and straight after this call, I'll publish it for everyone to see. So brand new website. But yes, please check us out.
Yes. So you guys get an exclusive look at the brand new website. Awesome. So I just posted it in chat. Please make sure that when are you going to launch it? When are you going to launch it so I can tell people to check it out?
Oh my gosh, yes, I should make a time, shouldn't I? Let's see. Should we do straight after the call? I'll publish it. Let's do that.
Okay. All right. Awesome. There you go. After. So make sure you save that that link. So it's art. What is it?
XV.
Thank you. artxvnft.com. Okay. So make sure you save it. All right. Other question that I have. Do you see the DAO being able to make a change for laws that, that affect those with disabilities?
Ooh, that's interesting. I think DAOs are so fascinating. I only got involved with them a few months ago, but I feel like we haven't even touched the surface of like the potential that DAOs have in terms of real life impact. Who knows? There's such a long way to go with the kind of laws that support disabled people, and really, not to make it a somber topic, but even things like, for example, police brutality. If you look at the stats with disabled people, it is extraordinarily high. Things like that, which will actually benefit many minorities. So I would absolutely love that. Who knows? Who knows if RXV becomes a force for change? But I mean, I have no doubt that Web3 is going to achieve things beyond our wildest dreams.
Awesome. Now, for your students, are there particular devices or apps that they use in order to create their artwork?
Yeah, so they are such a mixed bunch. You've got traditional art, you've got digital art. So, for example, Jay Quinn, the one who has synesthesia, so he has one kind of piece of information stimulates many senses. So he has hypersensitivity, which a lot of autistic people or neurodivergent people have, which is when kind of senses are very heightened. So because of that, the feeling of putting a pen to paper and like the scratching is actually overwhelming. So because of that, he does amazing digital art, but like he'll use pots and pans as like templates and textures. It's just everywhere. We have people that use AI even in their art. People who use paint, pen. There is so much. They're diverse in kind of every sense of the word.
Nice. That's great. And so I have a question about what about using GAN art as a form of expression? Have you had students that do that, or that they haven't quite touched that yet?
What is GAN art? Am I silly for asking?
So GAN art is basically, I guess it's a platform that you can say certain words and it automatically pulls different artwork and combines them into making like a representation of the words that you've spoken.
Is that like the one that people sometimes actually, no, it's not. I'm thinking of something different. That is amazing. I'm going to look that up because that is actually something that a lot of disabled people use, is something called picture exchange communication system. It's like, have you seen some people have like an iPad and they'll have like different pictures on it and they kind of piece it together? But that could be amazing. That could be something good for my own sister Tara. So thank you for that, whoever asked. Oh,
That was the go.
I'll have to have a catch-up meeting. I'll keep you updated.
Okay. All right. Cool. 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 All right. I'm gonna see if there's a lot of people who are saying thank you. This is the first time that people are being introduced to this, right? And as I mentioned earlier, it's very important to understand that all kinds of people are in this space.
Yeah.
And we need to be cognizant about that and cognizant about how we interact with people. Now I know we're creating this NFT space, but people are also um, hopeful that the metaverse would be inclusive for neurodivergent individuals as well. So, what is your take on that? And maybe let's expand on that for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So that's the thing, sometimes when I say, okay, NFTs are democratizing the art industry and like this and that, I sometimes feel a bit kind of, I am making generalizations because in reality, we have a long, long way to go. I feel like this is a space that grew so rapidly. And sometimes when things grow rapidly, the gaps can form. Even Web 2 is just, I remember when the COVID vaccines were out, a lot of disabled people couldn't even access the website for COVID vaccines because it wasn't accessible. So, if the governments can't even get their act together.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, I'm an optimist. I would love to think that the metaverse has huge potential. I mean, like I said in the presentation, just having community and art and culture, everything, just at your doorstep, on your laptop screen. You don't have to go out. And this isn't just kind of physical accessibility, it's people that have social anxiety. It's so many different things. We actually had the CTO of Google. So the CTO of Google, one of them is John Abel. He's dyslexic, so he's neurodivergent himself, and he has chatted with our artists. And he said something really, really beautiful about the metaverse. And he said, it's a place where you can be as visible or as invisible as you want.
True.
I think that is such a great accessibility feature because you can hide behind not necessarily hiding, but you can have your PFP be your main kind of the thing that people first see on your profile. There's a lot of flexibility, which is what I love. And even working in Web3, to be honest, the fact that people work wherever they are in the world, that people get to travel, be flexible, this is all accessibility. And I think that's something very important is that accessibility benefits us all. It doesn't just benefit disabled people. It's like using a lift. I'm always using the lift. So yeah, I think it has huge potential, but we'll see. I don't know if many people could even define what the metaverse will be in a year or 5 years. So we'll see. Hopefully we'll apply pressure to them and it'll happen.
Yeah, I think all voices are needed in order to create the ideal metaverses that are going to be created. And you're right about accessibility. It does benefit all of us because I can hear. I'm an able-bodied individual. I do have my glasses, but other than that, I am right. However, when I watch TV or I'm streaming something on my computer or my phone, I put on the closed caption.
Me
And
too.
I love putting on the closed caption. I'm like, I don't know why, but it's like, it's a whole new world. You catch everything, right? I mean, if it's done correctly, right? And it helps, right? And so, and it makes me focus because oftentimes, I'll just tune it out and it's in the back of my, it's background noises sometimes, but if I'm forced to read along, right? I'm forced to stay in tune to what's going on. And it's funny because they'll also put sound, like certain small sounds they probably would not have caught if it wasn't for the closed caption. And I know a lot of able-bodied people are starting to do that.
Yeah.
And we're realizing, man, what kind of life did we live before this? It's beneficial for all of us. So I truly agree with the accessibility aspect because it is going to benefit all of us.
It really is. And even one of our artists, he also has chronic illness, and so a lot of people with chronic illness call themselves kind of spoonies. That's just like a nickname they give themselves. And he was telling me about spoon theory, and he was saying that if you have chronic illness, there's something called spoon free where it's, okay, I'm going to butcher this, but it's something where you can only do a certain number of things in a day. So you need to allot, like, what are the 5 most important things to do in a day? And I was listening to him, I was thinking, damn, like, I need to start doing that. Like, I'm worn out. Like, and it's an amazing community because the thing is, when you're a minority, you have to be resourceful. You know, the world's not built for you. And just the things that they've come up with are so resourceful. It's just, it really changes how you think about your own world. And I'm the exact same. I mean, my family is too loud to even hear the TV, so I'm always relying on subtitles. But yeah, it's a whole new
Yeah,
world. It's incredible. Yeah.
it is. It is. And you know, I'm on Clubhouse, and being on Clubhouse, you kind of take it for granted with a lot of the things because when visually you can see a lot of stuff, but there are people who are blind
Mm,
also on Clubhouse as well. And from an earlier stage, I was introduced to a woman who's been like an avid advocate of having it more accessible to people who are blind. And one of the things that she had suggested was for people to state their name so that she knows, who that sound has come from. But visually, we can see it, right?
mm,
But however, being cognizant that there's other people in this world is very important, and other people in spaces that you are too is very important. And now, we do have close because this does get streamed to YouTube, so there is closed captioning that's attached
yeah.
there as well. But now it's like I'm being more cognizant of that. Like, there's a need for us to really start to think about the accessibility of a lot of the things that we do because we want
Mhm.
everybody to be inclusive. Um, so going back to the metaverse, one of the things that I'm hearing, and I'm not sure if this is true, but for some individuals who are disabled, like they're looking forward to being able to take on a different persona, right? So if it's someone that can't walk in the metaverse, they would want to walk. And at least that's what the perception is. Have you found that that's exactly what people are, or do people just want to be themselves but be able to experience things?
Ooh, I haven't seen that before. I mean, that's the thing. I know I can't speak for the whole
Mm,
disabled community at all. Perhaps everyone should come to our Discord and ask them for yourself. But
yeah, I
yeah,
will.
amazing, perfect. But I'm not too sure. I think I very much, I spent the first few months of IXV just educating myself on kind of disability history and the disability movement. And I think I've really thrown myself into this growing movement where people are proud of who they are and really defiant in who they are. So I think this beautiful kind of growing movement of people just proud of they are and themselves and how they're different from everyone else. And that's a beautiful thing. But who knows? I think I'm careful to not paint. Disability is just a diversity, but
Yeah.
you also do. Some people is a rarity. Some people do struggle. I hate saying people struggle with disability, but the reality is that they do struggle. So it's a very very kind of fine balance between kind of being proud of who you are and doing that. But that would be very interesting, just in general, really adopting different personas. I'm sure a lot of people are already doing that.
Yeah, yeah. But I hope it's the right people that are doing it, right?
Yeah,
Because we
exactly.
don't want to feed into stereotypes and we don't want to create stereotypes as well. There's
Yeah.
another question. Does the DAO have any plans to sync up with supportive organizations and businesses to expand outside of the geographical constraints?
I would absolutely love to. I am such a partnership girl. I just love like pairing up. I think things are better when they're together. So our
Mhm.
most recent one, apart from Google, is we partnered with MenCap, which is the largest disability charity in the UK. And this is something that makes me just all warm inside because my sister Tara is one of their ambassadors, and this is the very first year. So they had a lot of like fancy celebrity ambassadors. This was the first year they said, actually, no, it's the disabled people who were meant to be ambassadors representing themselves. So she's a part of an amazing cohort of ambassadors. But I
Yeah.
would love to partner with people, not just disability charities, but kind of art charity, not charities, art organizations. I would love to do in real life events. Our first drop should be coming in June, and we'd love to launch it in NFT NYC. So
Ooh,
if there's
yes.
Yeah, so if there's any businesses out there, organizations that would love to partner up, please get in touch. But yeah, I would love for this to be big and global.
Nice, nice. I think that would be a great space to actually launch it. You guys heard it here. She wants to launch at NFT NYC. So make sure you tap into her, help her out because this will be a great segment to include in the event. And I know everyone was very happy about being able to participate last year. There were some things that did happen, but people are very much interested in continuing that and being able to participate and for them to start thinking about other people, right? And creating that inclusiveness for neurodivergent, I think will be fantastic. They may be blown away because I mean the artwork that you showed, I'm like, wow, wow. And historically, we've known some, neurodivergents that, have given us some masterpieces. So yeah,
Exactly.
sure
But
you
yeah,
tap into that.
no, I would absolutely love that. But yes, just to say a bit about the actual NFT project. So the NFTs will be those artworks, and with that artwork, if you pair it up with the Google project, what I love about this project is that it's so authentic. It's just the artists really. Some of these works took years to make. I was putting the dates on some of them. They were like 2013 to 2017. And yeah, so with every NFT, you get that real story behind it. You're investing in someone's career. So I'd love to present at NFT NYC. I think it would be fun for everyone. And hopefully, with every passing year, the conference gets better and better, and hopefully, all the
Yeah.
issues get fine tuned.
Yes, yes. And I also encourage you to maybe even partner up with some great companies out there and create your own conference as well, because I think that will be
Ooh,
very nice to have something that's created by and for people who are neurodivergent, as well as the general public as well to come and see and interact and be more and be educated, right? As well, because that's important.
yeah,
Because we're all coming with some kind of ignorance when it comes to
all of
interacting
us.
with each at some
Yeah,
level. But it's good to be educated by the right people, and to be onboarded into their world, right? And I think that's the first thing is knowledge, and after that, then we can start building together, and I think that's very much important.
definitely, definitely. Wow. Oh, I love that ambition, the idea of doing our own conference. I would absolutely love to do that. Didn't even cross my mind. But yeah, as you said, knowledge is power. The first step is just and actually hearing from the disabled and neurodivergent people themselves because they're the best source. And I would love for anyone who joins our community to not be afraid to ask questions. Obviously, keep it respectful, please, but not to be afraid also to say you're wrong. I have been wrong about so many things. Growing up with an autistic sister does not mean you understand disability. You just
Mhm.
understand your sister. So I'm learning with all of you. So I'd love for all of us to go on this journey together.
Awesome. So artxvnft.com. Make sure that you guys have that written. And, by the end of this event, you'll be able to click on that link and visit the website. And I can't wait to see the website. Is there anything else that's coming up for you that you want the viewers to know?
I think just the main thing is that big Google project, and also the lead up to our drop in June will be having a lot of different events and things that I've got cooking up. I'm so grateful to be working with the Metapod Accelerator, which is led by some of the guys at Meta Cartel. So we are in very safe hands to make this a real big have a big impact. So yeah, but if you follow our website or Discord, all the little updates will come along the way, I'm sure.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you very much. And is there a way that if people want to connect with you, maybe start that collaboration, that partnership that's coming your way, how can they connect with you?
Yes, so I'm easy, in the interest of accessibility. Hit me up on anything, Instagram, Twitter, whatever. There's a contact form on our website, but it's hello@artxvnft.com. That's the best way to contact us. But yeah, you'll find us somewhere. If you type in artxv, we'll pop up. But I'm always here to listen and hear your ideas.
Awesome. So I just posted that email in the chat, so you'll probably get a lot of people reaching out to you. Well, I want to thank you, Ava. Thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate it. I think we really saved, this one for the right time and making sure that people get introduced to a new world, and as well as ways to deal with people with neurodivergent and the wonderful art that they're bringing to the space. So it's very much needed, and I appreciate you joining us this morning.
Thank
Or
you for
good
having me.
afternoon for you.
Afternoon, yes. But thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to see where this community goes. Forget about IXV. It's such a special group of women. And yeah, I'm just so excited to be a part of it. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right. So now we're going to go to a 5-minute commercial, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Thank you all for joining us. And so, throughout this event, I've been trying to figure out how do we commemorate this event, right? And there's been so many different uh, opportunities for us to capture and be able to solidify and present to you all as attendees for joining us each and every day and participating either in the comment section in our Discord or just by listening and encouraging and supporting us. So what I wanted to do was actually create an NFT that everyone can participate in. There are several different platforms out there for us to take part in bringing that vision to life. The only issue was that, being cognizant of the fact that not a lot of people have onboarded to the space yet, but you're watching, and maybe after this event, you may be able to tap into it with the knowledge that you've cultivated from watching this event. And so one thing that I wanted to do was make sure that I found a platform that allows you to be able to mint the NFT or collect the NFT, whichever stage that you're in. I struggled with finding the ideal a platform to help me bring the vision forward. But it ultimately settled on something. And yesterday we recently created a POAP that is going to allow you guys to mint an NFT for this event. A POAP is a proof of attendance protocol. So it's kind of like a ticket stub whenever you go to an event and you want to keep that ticket stub for, memories later on. This way you can do the same thing with an artwork or digital artwork that's been created as an NFT. The POAP allows you to collect them, and it gives you a description of what that event was about. So a year from now, you guys will say that you've been able to participate in the IWB event for 2022, and you'll be able to have that stored in your wallet. So I'm going to present to you guys the recently released POAP, which is a permissionless NFT that was created. Give me a second while I try to go. There it is. Okay. So this NFT is to commemorate the International Women of Blockchain event that we conducted for this month. The NFT itself is just a vision that was created for you guys to have something to be able to say, hey, I participated, I attended, and I can say that I was here. It's important for us to make sure that you guys walk away with something from this event, and so we have a series of things that we'll be releasing to you as well. So what you can do is, if you're in Discord, you can go into the Discord channel under, I believe, one of the channels has IWB NFT. Under IWB NFT, you'll be able to see the POAP link. The website is, I believe it's POAP and then / Women of Blockchain, and I will take you to our POAP website. From here, what it will require you to do is put in your MetaMask address, which is your Ethereum address. This is an Ethereum NFT. This is an NFT that was minted on the Ethereum chain. So you'll put your ETH address into here. If you have a .eth address, which you guys know what that is. It's an ENS domain, and it basically links to your actual public address. And you guys can put that there. If you don't have a wallet as of yet, but you're thinking about getting a wallet, or maybe you're not, you do have an option as well. You can put in your email and mint this NFT. In essence, it's not minting on the blockchain if you're putting your email, but it will send you a copy of the NFT as a copy for you to keep with you. But I do encourage you to go ahead and establish a MetaMask if you haven't already, but you are able to mint this NFT. The link, once again, is in our Discord. It was also sent to you if you have signed up for attending this event. It was sent to you through today's Eventbrite, the one that was sent 2 hours before the event opened. So you can see that link and be able to claim this NFT. I'm really excited to bring this to you guys. It has information about the event, which you can read here in the description, and it has a link to the event site, so that way you guys will always have this with you as being able to participate in this event. There is more. So we will be giving away some NFTs that was created, what I did was I created an NFT to commemorate this event. Recently, this week, there was a discussion that kind of triggered most of us in this space who are women. The discussion was centered around the fact that there's no women in the space, or if there are, there's only a handful of women in this space. And it's triggering because we've taken the painstaking process of creating the International Women of Blockchain event to showcase and dispel the myth that there are no women, or there's only a few women in this space, and show that internationally there are plenty of women in this space. And we're not just creating, but we're also building. We're not just lurking, we're participating. Oftentimes our voice do get drowned out, but we're here. And for people to realize that we are here. And oftentimes, we're here because another female onboarded us. And so, we want the guys to support us and see us. Seeing us is very much important. So, I created this NFT to showcase that. This is the NFT. It's called Women Are in Blockchain is what the name of the NFT is. It is an animated NFT, which I will show to you guys. So this animated NFT, basically, it represents all women who are in this space. And it also shows that we are cool as well. We could be geeky, but we could be also, stylish as well. We have our heels, we have our pumps, we have our tennis shoes. If you zoom in closer, we also have our lipsticks. We're grabbing the mic. We're involved in crypto, NFT, DAO, and DeFi, and so much more that's in this space. It's my way of showing our involvement, and we also are global. We want people to realize that women are in this space, and we're actively working in this space, right? We're actively participating, we're actively doing things. And so this NFT basically, to me, it signifies that. It signifies the fact that we as women are here and we're coming with our authentic self. Let me go ahead and read you the description. So it's called Women Are in Blockchain. The description is, do you see us? We may not be loud. We may not sell out. We may not come with the community. We may not have the money. We may be quiet. We may just be working. We may be overshadowed. We may be drowned out. We may be overlooked and ignored, but we are here. Do you see us? And then the artwork represents all women that are working with little to no acknowledgement, women who oftentimes want to give up, but continues to move forward. We want you to know that we see you. We celebrate you. We are empowered by you. We couldn't be more happier that you are here. Continue building because the future is not right without your participation. So, and then it has the series of hashtags that we've used for this event. So we want to celebrate you all, and this NFT piece will be going up for auction starting at 0.5 ETH. In addition to this NFT piece, I will be doing a giveaway. What I did was I split up different segments of that particular artwork and created like a still NFT. And so within that, there is actually 4 pieces of that particular NFT that will be given away. So the first one is the crypto side, which has part of the sunglasses with the heart in it. And then it has, like, if you zoom in, there are some, neat stuff that's been created as well, but you're going to have to get that NFT. So there's like words here and words somewhere else that you guys can see. So this is one of the pieces that will be given away. And then there's others, and my computer's just slow for some reason. So we are, women are endowed. So you get a part of the mouth, the pump, in this particular section. And there are also words that you guys can't see, but if you zoom in, you'll be able to see that. And that's also a water bottle, because I think that's significant, right? That's part of self-care. Make sure to drink your water. So that's there as well. There's other pieces, and I encourage you guys to go ahead and check it out. It is on OpenSea. You will see it as the IWB collection, and you'll be able to see all 4 pieces. I wanted to show you guys the pieces, but it seems like my computer is kind of slow with it, with uploading this, but I'm going to try to show you all the various pieces. So this section is NFT. We have, the blockchain right here. We have a few words that zoomed in. We have the world, the globe behind her. We have, the word NFT. We have the sneakers right here as well. And the last one is DeFi. And I'll bring that up in a second. So this will be done as a giveaway. We will randomly select individuals that will receive this, and you guys will be notified. So what I'll do is I will send you an email request that you send me your MetaMask wallet. Make sure it is a MetaMask wallet or Ethereum public address, and you'll be able to receive these NFTs. So this one has a lipstick, has a mic, has the word DeFi, you have a portion of the face. So, it's something that I created just to show that women are in this space. We are in every aspect of the space. I want to encourage you guys to continue participating, continue building, continue to be and bring your authentic self. I thank you all very much for, allowing me to show you that. I'm really excited that you guys were able to see my little work. I was creating that since like this actually started. So it's good to be able to finalize that. And we will have more NFTs as well. It's important, as I said, to commemorate this event. So we will have other NFTs that will definitely do that as we move along. So we will go to a 5-minute break and we will be right back. All right, so I got some good news for you all. Around 2 p.m. To 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time, one of our sponsors, Copper Seed Safe, will be hosting a Metaverse tour. And so he would like to extend an invite to all of you all to join us at 2 to 4 p.m. So you could be introduced to a whole new metaverse that was created for Copper Seed Safe. So I'm going to post that in the chat so you guys can see the link in our Discord. He posted it under general. So you can also go into Discord and go to the general section and be able to see that link as well. So I hope to see y'all there at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And so, I'm really happy to be able to showcase, the NFT to you all. We are actually in the process of releasing more NFTs for you guys to be able to tap into. There will be more giveaways, and even though the event is ending this week, that does not mean that everything stops, right? We will consistently be able to tap in and provide resources to you guys, and opportunities that come to us will be presented. I particularly am excited about the many possibilities that can be cultivated from this event and the partnerships that are being created as we speak. I can't wait for you guys to be made aware of those events in the Discord that are happening, solely because we've been able to facilitate this event for the entire month of March, which is historical in nature, right? Because you've never really been to a conference, let alone a streaming conference that has run for an entire month. The purpose was to make sure that women are known to be in this space, and we are well represented. And I think we have done that. We have had over 15 countries participate, women from 15 countries participate in this event, and been able to present you with more than 100 women as well. There are so much more. We haven't tapped into everyone as of yet. So there are a lot of women. And as I mentioned, we're just, doing the work. We're not really too much going up on stages and shining a spotlight on ourselves. So it was fantastic to be able to do that for these ladies. Wanted to present you guys with some information and content about what to do when it comes to collecting NFTs. There are some FOMO moments when it comes to this space, especially when you hear that, certain people have been able to participate in certain collections and been able to make a lot of money off of those collections. There are several collections that are being released and dropped this month alone. World of Women just dropped their collection. Unfortunately, the price is kind of, up there. And so, their catering demographic just so happens to be those who have the money to spend. Because when you're talking about 2 ETH, you're talking about really $6,000 for an artwork. And good luck to those who are considering collecting, and congratulations to those who have that type of money to spend. And so but then there are other art that are out there that people aren't aware of. And oftentimes it's not really about generative pieces. It's also about the artist. As we know from Ava, that, there are a lot of artists out here that are sharing a piece of them. And they are using their artwork to be able to voice and show up and be represented. And I think we should start tapping into those type of people. Those individuals, they're not coming with these generative art pieces. They're coming with one-on-one pieces. And those one-on-one pieces really add value as they go. She mentioned Da Vinci and Picasso and Warhol. All of those individuals did not come into the art space and say, I'm going to create 100, or 1,000 of these pieces and sell it off. What they did was individually sell pieces that matter to them. And so it's important to seek out those one-on-one artists and build a collection off of that, not just PFPs. I know me, for once, I seek out art that resonates with me and speaks to me. And a lot of art does do that. And I encourage people to step outside of these collectives or collections and start looking at one-on-one pieces, because those are the pieces that really are going to ultimately worth their weight in gold, because you're investing in the artist and not necessarily in the FOMO or frenzy that's surrounding these collections. And a lot of people are jumping into this space. People are seeing this space for various reasons, whatever means that they may have, they're bringing into the space. And some people are here for good intentions and other people aren't here for good intentions. Recently, I'm sure you guys have been made aware of that there was a rug pull with the particular NFT collection, and 2 young boys were arrested, and they're in the process of being charged with wire fraud. And which brings me back to our keynote speaker, Megan from Block, who talked about the fact that, everybody assumed that this place is Wild Wild West. And in essence, it really isn't. And there are regulations, maybe not specific crypto or NFT regulations, but there are regulations that are adjacent to this space. And one of those regulations just happens to be wire fraud. And wire fraud is basically any fraudulent activity that has occurred either through the internet, telemarketing, whether it's phishing, scams, and even audio or over the phone or radios as well. So these two boys, they created an NFT collection called Frosties. It was 8,888 pieces within that collection. And I don't know what the price was, but they ended up selling out. They sold out, which is a miracle within itself. They actually sold out and made $1.1 million. Now, celebrating that success, I'm sure these 20-year-olds, never assumed that they would ever sell out, right? However, they did, which is a feat to be, celebrated. However, what they ended up doing, instead of sticking to the intentions of the collection, because I believe they had roadmaps, they had utilities attached to it, these two boys decided to, close up shop, delete everything, and act as if nothing happened. So they basically did a rug pull. And a lot of people who purchased were very upset because they were like, what's going on? Now I'm holding these pieces that at one point had value, but because you basically ran with the money, there's no value attached to it anymore. There's a community that's holding these worthless pieces because the team decided to bail. And so they didn't just stop there. What they ended up doing is saying, you know what, we were able to be successful. We did this. Guess what? I bet we can do it again. They took on the challenge and attempted to create another generative pieces, collective collection. And in the midst of that, I guess, a lot of people complain, or maybe perhaps, part of their collectors were people who, had people in high places because they were able to be identified and charged with wire fraud. And the wire fraud charge does have a high, penalty, as well as, they can be facing 20 years in jail. 20 years in jail. They're 20 years old right now. Possibility of coming out when they're 40. So, when you think about this space and, you're thinking about using it for the right reason, make sure you're coming in for the right reasons, right? And don't assume that this space is a scammer's layout or something like that. This space does have a lot of regulatory bodies that are looking, that are tapped in, and that are, that are also collecting. This space is not isolated from a lot of the regulations, right? If you are in the US, there are regulations that relates to how you communicate with people. There are regulations to, the internet. There are regulations to marketing. There's regulations to, that relates to securities, right? And oftentimes, I've heard people address securities as if, I'm sorry, address NFTs as if they are securities. So, there's been spaces or rooms where people have, said, if you invest in this NFT, it's going to go up, it's going to skyrocket, it's going to, do. And I'm like, hold up, is this an NFT or is this a security? So, people who don't know better are commingling and trying to create some kind of opportunities for themselves and using wrong choice words when describing their projects. And so be careful what you say, because this space is not that much of a wild, wild west. There are regulations out there. And as people, when we're marketing things to people, when we're saying things about our project, you just want to make sure that you're not triggering and giving the indication that it could be a security or giving some kind of guarantee. And I've been in places where I'm just shaking my head because I'm like, don't do that, don't say that, but people have. and there was another NFT collection called CryptoSys that was created by Lana Rhodes. She is a famous, she just look her up. I'm not even gonna say, but anyway, she also created CryptoSys, and in an article that I read, it looked like her collection did not sell out. Leading up to the collection, she was talking about how it's going to be lucrative, it's going to make a lot of money. But then I guess, when people didn't buy into her pieces, she ended up, she's an adult porn star. She ended up uh, closing everything, shutting everything down, and being disappointed that, her followers did not invest in the work. And so people are calling that a rug pull as well. She may end up, if enough people complain, end up being charged with wire fraud as well, because this was something that a few people did collect. The expectation was that, the collection will sell out. And it didn't, and she decided to close everything, which, you can't just do. Like, if you're putting yourself out there and you're building a community, you either need to be upfront with your community and just say, you know what, unfortunately, this thing didn't happen the way that I wanted it to happen. But deciding to individually close down shop when people have already invested in you is not the best thing to do. It is considered at that point to be a rug pull. So she better be careful, because we have a precedent now that other rug pulls may be facing wire fraud, and that's something that people need to be cognizant about. All right, with that said, I want to transition to some of the top things that you should be looking for when it comes to vetting these NFT projects. So Nicole, why don't you join me? All right, let's go ahead and have, thank you, Nicole. Do you want an intermission? We can go ahead and have a 1-minute intermission.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in 1 minute.
All right, here we go.
All right. All right, so we're back. I posted in chat that we're going to talk about the top 10 things to look for when vetting NFT collections. Some of these, you may not agree with. Some of them, you may strongly agree with. But these are the things that we feel is very much important when looking at these collections, because, we've been tapped in and staying tuned and listening and being made aware of some of these rug pulls or scams that are going on. And we just want you guys to navigate in this space safely. So welcome, Nicole. How are you?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Inka. I'm good. It's Tuesday. It's NFT Tuesday. So we are here talking about something, every day there's a rug pull. Somebody is getting scammed out here. And so it's really important for people to be safe. And that word is used sparingly, right? Because you can't be 100% safe. in this space. There's nothing you can do that will actually make that happen. You have to go with what you can and make the best decisions that you can for yourself. So I think that's, to me, the first tip is know that you're going into this and, Wild Wild West is what's used, but it is sort of like that, you are here and there's things you can do to protect yourself as much as possible, but there's nothing you can do that will keep you 100% safe in the space, because you're operating in something that is new. There's innovations happening all the time. And but that goes for scammers too. People are out here scamming, and you're using things that, it works today, but tomorrow there will be a fix for it and you will be caught. So that's how the space rolls. So we have a list of things that we've kind of discussed, but I think that, to me, that's the first one.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and start with the lists. And what are you going to do? You're going to go from 1 to 10 or 10 to 1?
10 to 1.
Okay.
So there's a list that's out there. I want to just make that clear. We're using the list from Rug Pull Finder, but we've talked about it, and so some of the stuff we agree with, others we don't. So we're just going to add in kind of like what we are thinking about each one of these things. So number 10 is a high mint price. So there's a high mint price. Yinka, what does that mean to you when you see that?
They don't want a community. They want the whales. They want people to, because a high mint price, you're basically Xing certain people out, right? If your mint price, like I said, the world of women, not to harp on that, but if your mint price is like 2 ETH, you're not looking for regular everyday people. It's a world of women, and oftentimes women aren't coming with that type of resource. So you're not bringing on board. You're like, I don't know. To me, it's just, you're not going for that. You're going for the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right?
It's clear what your intentions are. You want the money, and
you want the money. Thank you. You want the money.
You don't want me in your Discord. That's what that means.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You want the money. You don't really care about the community. It's about the money. So,
yeah. So number 9. Is the smart contract available before mint day? So we both see issues with this, right?
Yeah.
Like, so part of this is great. Like, you made it available to the community, but that also means that when you open that up, you're opening it up for everybody, which includes all those malicious and bad actors out there. So what do you think about that?
I mean, exactly what you just said. This is an opportunity for bad actors to copy that smart contract, right? And we've known of projects that have released their smart contract, and before they even pull the trigger, somebody else has already done it, and then they post that link to make it look like they're part of that project. And then the real people have to stop everything and warn people not to click, because that's not their contract. So look, there's a lot of nefarious individuals here, and they're just looking for the right opportunity. So releasing your smart contract in advance, even though it does look good, but unfortunately this space just doesn't, it doesn't work for this space. It creates opportunities that you may not want.
Yeah. Number 8, are they paying a lot for marketing? To me, this spells there's a business backing this thing, and there's a whole lot of money behind it. So maybe you should question it. But that can be seen both ways. So what do you think about that?
Okay, so there is a need for marketing. We know that in this NFT space, the hardest thing and the most important thing is marketing, right? You need to put resources behind your marketing. However, if you're spending a lot, oftentimes, because there's a lot of people who will market, for you, and vetting these people is hard, right? Because oftentimes they are fictitious in nature, right? They are individuals that are creating these facades, and they will guarantee you that you're going to get a certain amount of followers, and all they're doing is like buying followers, right? They're buying followers a lot of their followers are bots, right? So it's hard. I do know marketing is important, but putting a lot of money towards marketing, what type of marketing, right? Is it marketing promotional wise? Because there are businesses that are out there that will guarantee that people will follow you and all these things, and all they're doing is creating a false sense of ideal followers, right? And I think that's another part of the list that we're going to talk about, so I'll keep it there.
Yeah, so this one, the next one is number 7. Are you banned for asking simple questions? That's a red flag. So when we're talking about are you banned, you got kicked out of the community because you asked a question. Like you got excommunicated from the entire community. This doesn't matter where this is happening, right? So whether it's a clubhouse stage, within reason, or if it's a Discord server or even a Twitter space. And, I don't go out on Telegram, so I can't speak to that. But if you are getting banned from a community for asking a simple question that is respectful and in line with the project, then you should have some serious questions. At the same time, when people's questions are deleted, when those questions are and answers are kind of changed and reorganized and reshifted into different conversations within the framework of that question, question it, definitely, because that means that somebody's trying to hide something that they don't need to be hiding. It's one thing to delete something from a Discord channel that's probably not in the best place to ask the question, but it's another thing to totally just delete it and not answer it at all. So be on the lookout for those kind of things.
Yeah, I agree with that. One of the things I tell people whenever you're vetting any type of projects, right, is go into their social media platforms, go into their Discord, their Telegram, all of the spaces, and see how that team interacts with the community. If they're ignoring someone, if they're chastising someone, and if that person is not doing something that's annoying, right? Dig deeper, right? Because there are people within the community that their intentions is to make things known, right? And they're giving others a warning. So you have to pay attention. They could be annoying, but however, if you dig deeper, you'll realize why they're starting to take on that type of tactic. I've seen a few telegrams where, there has been that annoying person, but if you dig deeper, it's like they're annoying because people are ignoring them, and they've been trying to raise the alarm, but it's like, the team is just refusing to address their concerns. So I would definitely take heed. To me, that's a red flag. They're not about community. There's something that they're hiding.
Yeah. All right, so we got to get through these quicker. So there is number 6. This is a big one. Fake followers and bots. It's big and it's also hard, right? So fake followers and bots. Again, this is referring to Discord. This is referring to Twitter, Instagram. First of all, the number is a red flag, right? So how many people are you actually saying are in this server? All of a sudden, we started our server yesterday and we have 12,000 followers. There's something that's not quite right about that. And I heard this just last week, right? So we've had, even these people, we've had our server up for 2 months and we have 12,000. Our plan is to get to 36,000 people and then we'll drop. And it's like, how did you get your 12,000 followers? So to me, that's very fast. And I work with Discord religiously, so especially these days. So it's like, what are you doing to acquire that many people and onboard that many people so quickly? Because to do it over a very long length of time, that's one thing. But to have said that in the course of 8 weeks, I've amassed 12,000 people who are ready to buy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. We know. Come on. Like, you guys know. Look at the creation date or the join date or whatever. Compare it to the people. Like seriously, unless you're like a celebrity and you basically onboarded all your people into a particular platform, even with that, it's a steady incline, right? It's not all at once. All these people rushed in, right? It just doesn't make sense. I also want to highlight the fact that, if they're following one or two people and like they have a massive following, to me that's a flag. I'm not sure if it's a red flag, but something ain't right. Something ain't right.
At the minimum means you're a jerk, because that means that you want everybody to follow you, but you don't have any interest in following people back.
Exactly.
So, to me, that'd be a non-starter anyway.
And people do get annoyed with that. Like if you don't follow them back, they will
and you know how people react when you do that. So it's if you really manage that many.
Thank you. Like somebody wants you to follow them back. They're not just going to say, yeah, that person follow, I follow that person. No, they want that, back and forth. But, some celebrities, they do that, right? But if these projects aren't celebrities, they're just projects. Everybody know them, like that.
Right.
To me, it's a flag. It is definitely, to me, it's a red flag. To others, it may not be, but it's a cautionary flag.
Yep. And this moves us right along to number 5, which is it too good to be true? Probably is.
It is. It is. They're all true.
All right. So that's, I think that's enough said on that. Next, though, number 4 is the roadmap clean and clear with proper understanding of execution? To me, this one, it depends on the project. And this is my personal ethos. So things that I will rock with. I don't care what your roadmap looks like. I care about why I'm there. So your roadmap can definitely be you expressing your ideas to me. Your roadmap can be me believing in you. I don't want to see roadmaps for the sake of having roadmaps, right? Like they're poorly executed, they're poorly put out there. Like Trello isn't a way to do a roadmap successfully to me. And so I kind of throw up on those. But if I see, kind of like this, we've created a Words doc. I don't care what platform you're using it on. The content should be good if you're going to do one. I also am somebody who does not think that every single project needs a roadmap. I think that if you have a long-term project, then that needs a roadmap. If you are looking for millions of people to come and be, inside of your project and you're wanting to really build this thing up, that needs a roadmap. A DAO needs a roadmap. If you are dropping 5 NFTs and you just want your community to celebrate you, I don't think you need a roadmap for that. But that's me. What do you think, Yinka?
Yeah, everybody puts so much emphasis on a roadmap. I think it's more so, are they following what they say that they're going to do, right? Because a roadmap doesn't necessarily have to be written down, but you have to understand the intention of the work, right? Things can happen that they have to derail from the roadmap, and are you aware? Are you being informed of what's going on? I think roadmaps came along with the whole crypto punk thing and Bored Ape Yacht Club, and then those people, because they were early adapters, decided to basically set the chart for how people navigate in this space, which is false. Because a lot of the stuff that they said, look for projects with a lot of followers, because that indicates that it's going to be a great project, because that's what I did and I got into it. And I was like, man, it's bull, right? And we're seeing that a lot of people are following those type of roadmaps, and they're also using it to scam people because they know that's the easiest thing visually that you can see. Look for the team and what they're doing. Are they really intentionally doing something about this, right? So sometimes roadmaps can work, and other times it may not work.
Yeah. So next up, we have so we're gonna have to go to number 1 to do this one. So actually, let's see. Let's go to number 2, and then we'll do numbers 3 and 1 together because they are linked. So number 2 is the art the same as others, or a copycat and or stolen? So we've seen this in our space, actually, directly, kind of in relation to us. And so is it a copycat or stolen? So I think when I first kind of was made aware of this project in specific being terrible, was when I took a minute to image search what I was seeing. And as soon as I used Google image search, images of this project came up and they were available immediately. And then I started typing in words and phrases that, resonated with the image, and started looking through other images that were out there. Scroll through maybe 3 or 4 or 5 lines, not even paging through. And you're seeing the same kinds of things over and over and over again, and being able to go out to the pages where these things were. Check. Does this art belong to somebody else? Because there's no way that you as an individual know of every project, every person who's out there. And a lot of times these folks actually take people who are lesser known and grab their artwork and then pump it up really, really big, so that they can, obtain the money for it, because it was great artwork to begin with and nobody saw it. So just be cognizant that you have tools available to you to search. Use your words. Think like an artist. So, like, what would an artist be naming this? What does it look like to me? And then just search and see what comes up. What do you think?
Yeah, same thing, right? There was I think it was Caked Ape or something like that, which was a degen of the BAYC. And it just recently released on the Ethereum platform. I was on the Solana platform and I saw it in a marketplace. And they changed the name, and I'm like, hold up. And this looks just like the Cake Ape. And sure enough, someone stole that and decided that by changing chains that they can get away with it, by selling it on that chain. So you want to be cognizant of, the projects. There's a lot of scammers out there as well, so people can copy and replicate the exact same project that's legit and put it under, a whole new name under even the same marketplace and try to sell it. So there's a lot of that out there, and it's good to be aware. Oftentimes, go to their actual, site and see, where they tell you to go collect it on the secondary market. So I think that's the best way to do things, because there are a lot of copycatters out there.
All right, now here we go. It is the team doxed. That's the number one red flag. If the team is not doxed. So first of all, Yinka, what does doxed mean?
So docs just means that, can you identify, do you know who these team members are? Are you able to go onto their social media platforms and be able to identify them? The best social media platform, of course, is LinkedIn, right? Can you be able to trace their history? Who are these people? What are their names? Because everyone wants to travel in this space anonymously to some degree. But, a lot of people are doxing themselves by using their full name. And some projects, oftentimes, they'll use some kind of fake name, as well as fake pictures. So you're really not sure that you can trust this team. And it's important for you to do your due diligence to make sure that this team is legit. Because we know a lot of people who are using this space to, carry out their nefarious act and getting away with it because they're navigating through this space anonymously. So you do want to make sure that you know the team members, know who they are, and whether or not they are aligned with what they're saying.
Yeah. So we all wear PFPs, but this goes deeper than that. It goes into that name, and being able to, kind of just see, like, who are you? Where do you come from? Does it line up with what you said previously? So make sure that you're, kind of checking into it. I saw yesterday in one of the servers that I'm in, somebody asked, so, like, where can I go to find the team that's responsible for this project? And so, there's a project that actually yesterday got hit with this. And so number 2 is, let me read number 2. So number 1 and number 2 go together. Number 1 is the team doxed? And number 3 is, if they are doxed, are the social media pages real? So yesterday, or over the last couple of days, it has been revealed that a project named Tribe X is actually or has been affected by malicious actions. And so that's what we're going to call that because, we don't want to hang people out to dry if they're not actually rug pullers, but it does seem to be this way. And so I am the one to give them benefit of the doubt until the doubt has 100% been laid at their feet. However, this doesn't look good. So early on in this project, I had to make a decision. I really liked the artwork. I love like the idea, the concept, like everything. There's thousands of people in the server. They are very active. And that's actually another indication that something could be up, is that they're trying to make it so that you don't have time to actually do your research. And so that's a delicate balance. But for this particular project, they didn't have their pictures up. And that struck me because this is a project that's targeted, or at least supporting diversity, and is definitely for, it very much is for sisters, and it targets us. And so, one, that's not cool. Second of all, we appreciate projects that do that and are doing it in with us in mind, that are created by us and inclusive of us. However, when you are exploiting us, we're going to come get you. And that's where I feel like we are right now. So yesterday, or I guess this was yesterday, the project has been deemed as a rug pull. Now, there's a couple different flavors of information going out there right now, but all things are saying that somehow the contract was changed and the wallet address was changed. The wallet address, the money and the crypto were removed from the wallet in excess of $650,000. So 183 ETH at the time, 183 ETH were removed from the wallet, and then it was restored to us. So, Yinka, what are your thoughts? One of the wallets, the money was then sent to two different wallets, and one of them had $2 billion in it, or $2 million in it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you already knew that from the get-go. I've been okay. First, let me say, when I was introduced to Tribe X, right? The visuals look great. Their website is fantastic. So their website got me. It was their website. Their website was top notch. Okay. And it was presented in a way that I've never seen website being done. And to the point where I actually wanted to mimic the website. Yeah, kudos to the website, to the UX designer for that. You did the thing. Okay. However, I started doing my research because I'm like, it's Tribe X. So it's like basically female warriors, right? And a lot of what they showcase is women that look like me, right? So I'm thinking, okay, this got to be, something that we're involved in, right? And so I started researching, doing your due diligence, researching the team, right? I realized that a lot of the names were names that were kind of questionable. And we've had in situations where Russians have pretended to be Black women to try to bring forth a project. So red flag went up. I was like, I'm determined to figure out who these two leaders or whatever of these teams are. Did searches, couldn't find them. And what I ended up finding was guys. Okay, so these were guys. Okay, these were guys. But why did they choose women? Why did they choose Black women? As their pieces to focus on. And so I started looking at the rest of the team, and I saw that it's funny because the people that were doxxed, you can find their LinkedIn, you can find other means of identifying them, were the minorities. And so there was a Black woman that is part of the project or listed as part of the project, and I was able to find her on LinkedIn, and as well as other things, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, why isn't she listed as, the primary? Because, she's a secondary person in this list, right? Because you can kind of tell by the structure and how it's laid out who's top and who's, just there, right? So she's like a supporter, and there was like other minorities that are supported because, they knew that they were going to get backlash, so they wanted to make sure that they were well represented. So in that, it was like, so in that, it was basically like, I started getting red flags, and they kept delaying. They said that they were going to release, I think it was February, and then they kept delaying that and all that. So I was just like, you know what, this project don't seem like it's legit. So it does not surprise me that, in their attempt to take some money out, that someone actually alerted them and let them know that we're watching. We see the movement, right? And so I guess that scared whoever was doing that. And, they supposedly transferred the money back, right? So if you're a scammer, right, would you really transfer the money back? Or is that somebody that got scared within the team and said, you know what, let me go ahead and, this is not looking good, right? So yeah, it did not sound right. It was not right. So I was trying to raise the alarm from the early onset and saying this Tribex just doesn't pass the
So we had to go through, we went through this. So Ika and I talk quite a bit, if you can't tell. But so it has been an ongoing thing. We were just kind of like holding our breath, I was holding my breath, waiting to see if this was actually going to happen. And my heart kind of sank when it actually did. I was hoping that this was a good one because of what it was, so that I could go by on secondary. Like I had no intention of being a part of the initial mass, but yeah, it's not. So beware. If you're a member of that community, go read your Twitters, go read up on things and decide what you want to do from here on out with that project. We're not going to tell you can't be a part of it. Obviously, you're going to make your own decisions, but just know that things have happened that are suspicious and are still unraveling. So
it
that
is.
part.
It is. I wanted to say something that we didn't also talk about, the fact that they say that they were targeted. So there, something happened. They were hacked, right? But in the midst of it, they're still saying that they will continue on with the contract. So if the contract was hacked, right, then that means that contract is vulnerable. But they're not even talking about the fact that the contract may be vulnerable. They want to continue on. And, so I'm just like, something doesn't pass the sniff test. Is something is wrong, really. And red signs to everyone, be cognizant, be warned. There are, a lot of projects out there that doesn't pull this mess, and, look out for the good ones. But this one, to me, just doesn't seem right.
Yeah. And I think that if, let's say that this happened, to me, my first instinct isn't to say, oh, but hold on tight, we'll be back for more. If I were compromised, and if, like my Instagram is compromised right now, I am working over, let me rephrase that. My Instagram is not compromised. Someone is cloning me on Instagram, and they're reaching out to literally everybody on my contacts list.
Yeah.
And so people are coming back to me like, Nicole, what you doing? And I'm like, that's not me. But I'm working overtime to, one, reply to all those messages. I'm working overtime to put the information out there that it's not me, because I don't want anybody to be scammed or hacked, or to provide any kind of information to this person who's out here doing this. And I'm also consistently trying to get Instagram to ban that account, and Instagram won't do it right now. But there could not be clearer signs that that person literally just took my identity and decided that they were going to be me for this week. They've done it to others. And so this is not the first time it's happened to me, but I'm doing those steps. So to me, if this had been a contract that was something I was working on, that's what I'd be doing on the back end. Like, okay, we have 4,000 people, or however many people made up the 180 ETH. We need to talk to them, make sure that we are communicating, get, whatever we can do, some kind of something to make sure that this isn't right. I'm not talking to the people who didn't invest and saying, hey, hold on tight, we're going to fix it. You'll be able to get what you want here in a minute. So I think that there's a difference between the focus. One is on community, the other is on the money. And so that's where they seem to be, to me, with what they're putting out there right now. So those are my thoughts on that. And like I said, I'm very sad that this is actually happening with them. And so, yeah.
I'm sad for you. I mean, I'm sad.
Such a
No, seriously, I am sad for you because I actually want it to be wrong, and I want you to get it. It is like if it had worked out the way that it was supposed to work out, it's a fantastic project, right? Like I said, if a website can get me to be like, whoa, right, and the artwork within itself is great. There's a lot of people that love it. I mean, this thing released in November, and they've been slowly trying to do. I mean, they didn't release, but they came on the scene in November. But they've been cultivating and marketing. I mean, they did everything.
But actually, like if we go down the list, it all fits, right? So the overactive marketing, the super amazing website, the overactive socials, the thousands and millions of people in the Discord. I can say that they at least seem real, realer than some of the fake bot accounts that I've seen. But all of this stuff fits. So if this is our list and this is what we're saying, then is what it is. So
I mean.
That part.
Unfortunately, the list is not guaranteed, right? There's probably some things that we've missed. And if there are, please let us know. What do you look for when you vet these NFT collections? Because, there's a lot of stuff that are hit or miss. There's things that, people do that doesn't fit the norm and may work for them, etc. But I mean, even these scammers out here, they know the roadmap, right? They know what to do.
What's one thing that you look for that isn't on the list? Because I have one, but what's one that you look for that's not there?
Oh my God, I did think of one, but I totally forgot right now.
I'll go. So like mine's is fast talkers. So people who are slimy, slick, fast talkers who are in your clubhouse rooms and who, they're just like greasy salesmen. That I don't care if your project's legit. If you got that person on your team, I don't want anything to do with it because they're that person. They are there to make sales and kind of just, it never feels right to me. So those are the ones that I don't resonate with. And so I wouldn't be involved with that anyway. But what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I agree. Fast talkers, it's annoying to me because I'm like, I just feel like you're trying to sell me something. So there's nothing legitimate about your business, right? I would say another one is, God, I keep having it and I keep losing it. I actually had quite a few. Another one that I would look at is, are they answering questions, right? Or are they saying what they want you to hear, right? So if I'm asking a legitimate question, are you going about, give me some elaborate story? Like the guy that you asked, about your marketing, how did you get so many? Well, I'm a great marketer. And all,
right.
Really? Come on. You can't.
That was the answer. So how did you get 12,000 people in your Discord server in 8 weeks? Oh, I come from a marketing background, and so I know how to do blah, 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 blah. But that wasn't an answer. So an answer is, we held 5 events that, we were able to have everybody bring in 5 people that they know. And so then that grew our network. And from there, they were getting invitation invites and we were tracking those and rewarding people. Like that's the actual answer because you're proud of that. That's work that actually went into the project. So stuff like that. It's always a red flag. And, some people just may not be good talkers too. So you need to be aware. And I am cognizant that there's some people who just Like you just got to pull it out of them.
No,
But
I mean, come on. That was a legitimate question
yeah,
to
no. Yeah,
well,
he
I'm
should
such a great girl. Come on, like that's if that's the case, right? Then everybody should be pulling in somebody that's able to generate 12,000. But because he's such a great person, now he got to wait until they get to 36. Like if you're so great, you should be at 36. Like right, So anyway, to me, that's just a cop out, and they're not really addressing the question. And I think that's big. That's a huge hint, right? You want people to be able to address your question the way that you ask it, not give it the way that they think that they should address it. And I just think that's annoying. My other stuff is, I did say, the ratio between who they follow and the amount of people that follow them. If they started, look at the date, their start date, right? Their join date or whatever. If they created something, like a lot of these projects, they pop up January, or no, what is it, today's date? They may have pop up on the 28th, and they're minting right away. And we know marketing does take time, right? So jumping in and jumping out. There was actually one, I forgot what the name was that popped up on within a week. They pop up, they sold out, and they did the rug pull. It was just like, what the hell? So, I mean,
the Discord thing always gets me because it's like 12,000 people. Think about the process. So you guys take a minute. Think about all the people that you know that are using Discord that don't know how to use it, don't like it, don't get on right the first time. Think about just this server. We have, several, a couple hundred in this server, and the challenges that we've had getting women in is real. You know what I mean? Like that's the actual experience, because everybody learns differently. And this is an app that is not easy to absorb for just anybody. It's not like going onto a web page, right? So the idea of 12,000 people expertly getting in and being able to communicate and chat daily. These are what we call bots, and they are bot people, bot users who sit inside these servers, and they're programmed with either technology or payments from people that are out on Fiverr that will come into the server and make it seem like they're having conversations. Look at the conversations. Are they actually talking about things? Do those conversations flow in a normal and legitimate manner, or could it possibly be the conversation and dialogue of a bot? So those are things that we need to be aware of, and definitely tap into and make sure that we have them, that we can see what certain things are for what they are. Because I have a Discord server, and that server has 800-900 people, and I can tell you at any given time there's maybe 50 to 60 that are active. That doesn't mean they're active in our server. They are online. And so think about those numbers in relation to the 12,000. That's not normal. So yeah.
Yeah. We could go on for days, and I really like this topic. But we do have our next speaker, so let's go ahead and take a 2-minute break, and then we'll be right back.
Right on.
I'm dancing. I know Nicole was gonna bring me up. All right, all right, all right. Hopefully you guys got a little break and was dancing as well. So our next speaker is someone that I've known for a while. I would like to bring up Michelle. Michelle, come on up. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I know you have a presentation today, and I'm really happy that you can make it and join us. I will leave the stage and let you introduce yourself, and then we will bring up your presentation.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Michelle. I am currently with the Fantasy XR. We are a metaverse gaming company focusing on emerging countries. And I'm really excited to be here. We are very honored to sponsor this program and to sponsor Yinka, who is changing women and the state of women and people in the world today. And I am very excited about the future in NFT and gaming and the metaverse. Just a little bit of my background. I am a professionally trained attorney for a number of years. I was counsel at a pretty large payments company, and then I was really excited about crypto and blockchain and how it could really change the world. I am, more so on the ethos of blockchain because I saw a lot of the potential. Like I've seen historically, I've seen the '60s movement and other movement where people can effectuate change. And I really do hope, and it is my purpose and dream that Web3 could really touch upon us and change the way that that we um, like in terms of increasing our generational wealth, as well as giving us a purpose and helping us shape the future of tech and the internet. Hopefully, we'll not become Animal Farm. Hopefully, we'll can make something a movement that doesn't track us, doesn't only make a few people wealthy, but also like help really uplift and elevate people in general. And I think that is my goal. And I advise tons of projects. I'm also a mentor at a few accelerator, including Singularity University, Berkeley Blockchain, Techstars, Web3 Launch Pool in Ireland, and a Turkish community called SVI Academy in the Bay Area that bridges entrepreneurs from Europe, and also Hack Temple, which is a church in San Francisco that does entrepreneurship. I'm really honored to be here. I'm looking forward to talk about the future of NFT gaming and the metaverse. I can kind of go on right now to the next slide. As you know, the market size for gaming is huge. It's 47.48 billion in 2022, and it's forecasted to be 678.8 billion in terms of the metaverse. That's a growth of about 39.4%. And it's going to be big. I think, in terms of digitalization, I think it's going to move the physical into the virtual, and it's going to go beyond the web. It's going to go, to the metaverse. And, when I talk about metaverse, it includes anything that is spatial, that is a combination of physical with the web. That includes spatial web, where web in the future will be layered, not just flat. That will include AR, which is augmented reality, and that will include virtual reality, XR, which is mixed reality, and everything in between. Next slide, we have the market size. I just wanted to do a comparable yeah, we could actually have this talk in the metaverse. I wanted to compare Axie Infinity, which is a gaming company, with the Binance Smart Chain. As you guys can see, Axie's Infinity outgrew Binance Smart Chain in about a year's time. So it's pretty significant. It's, they basically, if when you see the chart, is like zero forever, and then when it was the right timing, it has the potential of growth, right, where it exceeded a chain, a pretty popular chain. So which is amazing. If you guys remember 2017 and 18, Binance was onboarding a number of users per day, but look at how it grew at the end. The axis was on growing more people per day in a very small amount of time, which is amazing. I also want to talk about the global market. As you can see here, the gaming and the entertainment industry is a big chunk of the metaverse space. Like when I talk about entertainment, that includes concert, that include also gaming and anything that is interactive. An example is, for a Marshmallow, they had their concert at Roblox, and it is just kind of funny that they had I think 11 million people who joined, and each metaverse only could contain about 100 people, so they had to make a certain amount of metaverses instance of them to actually accommodate. But the space is huge. So then the question is, why? What is NFT gaming in metaverse? As you guys know, NFT is tied to a unique aspect. It's different from Bitcoin and blockchain because it's not repetitive. Each token is unique. It's tied to something unique. Even if you are buying 100 edition of something, that edition of yours is also very unique, right? And that includes everything. It includes collectibles, variables, fashion, real estate, where the digital becomes things. You can buy something, that is digital, and you can receive something that is physical. So think about e-commerce. Um, so that is going to be super, super amazing. And then it includes, all the immersive environment, where you can interact with that, and that includes, gaming, of course. Um, Bonding curves, economies, and tokenomics. So if you're playing NFT gaming that involves economics, include economies, and bonding curves is basically a way to incentivize and gamify your people to buy your tokens or buy your NFTs early. And with gaming, it also involves communities, DAOs, and guilds, right? You need people around it to support you, to listen to you, to be part of the game. So I think, and you can see YGG, for example, in the Philippines. They have a large community, and they play games, and they were able to educate people, to onboard them, and to make their lives better. One of the conversations that I had with some of my friends are that, in Southeast Asia, for example, if you make $5 or $5, that basically goes a long way, compared to people in the US. So the money that the impact on, some of the people in emerging countries is a lot greater. And in the US, I think we have apps that make us more entitled, right? That our mom, it's some way replaces our mom. Uber, a lot of cooking apps that bring you food. Like I think in the U.S. we could be entitled, and we don't really care about that $5. But in other countries, that $5 means a lot to people. So in about February 2021, I founded a company that makes galleries and NFT. Um, at first, I really thought that I just wanted something 3D because I was making augmented reality. in when doing hibernation during COVID, and I have about 200, over 251 million impressions. I have about 3 million users, and this is just personal. I was just kind of coding and just doing things for fun, and so when I applied to a few platforms, like there's gatekeepers in the Web3 space, as you guys know. In a lot of these platforms, you have to apply to get in, but if you don't know anyone, it's kind of hard to get in. But so as an artist, I just like apply and I wait, right? And even though you make art, you might not be good enough to be accepted into those platforms. So then I was just like, well, I could wait or I can just build something. So I decided to build something, and I wanted to focus on something different. So I was focusing on 3D. So I decided to do VR, and Metaverse's gallery with pictures in there, and Harmony and Balances is just really one of the gallery. It was the whole curation is created by an African American person. I basically met him at Clubhouse. I told him that I would love to host him. I thought that underrepresented communities need a voice, and that we would basically help him promote his voice. So we had a show of a number of African American artists called Harmony and Balance. And we and it made it like news worldwide. Korea Times, BBC, all picked up on it, and the artists who actually make the basketball player art got a commission as a result of the gallery. So I really love that. I really love the community. I love how it kind of supported all the artists who would otherwise be marginalized and unheard. Even though there are awesome artists, as you can see from the art, those everything was beautiful. Love the jazz room, and there's also sound. In VR, you can incorporate sound in it, so there's some poetry about what it means. And people's perception and their mind's eye. You can kind of hear that and feel that. So that's one of the reasons I love metaverses. And this is actually then as a result of that, I had to co-found another company because the previous co-founder actually wanted 80% of the company. It was a guy, and took some of my works and and actually didn't pay for it even though I coded it. And I think some of you guys women understand how it's like and how that felt, to be to actually make something, and people take advantage of that. So I basically had to start over again, and that's what I did. So I co-founded another metaverse, and that focuses on music. And so so we have a global music festival every weekend for the whole summer, and we work with a team. I really love the team, and it was awesome. I at that time, it was like a couple years during COVID, and I really missed Coachella. So then I was just like, why don't we have a virtual music festival in the metaverse? So that's what we did. We incorporated NFT, and we had a music festival in there. It was a lot of fun. I spent like, I think that I had like, I remember like we had two birthday songs in the metaverses, and I spent every Saturday, a couple hours there. I was really inspired, and I really love it, right? Um, so this is actually Raven. He's playing in, that's his whole DJ set. It's beautiful. He's super talented. Um, and I remember July 4th, we have like virtual fireworks in the metaverse. And I think Raven invited his family. The whole team was there. It was beautiful. And as a woman CEO, as you guys know, we have some internal conflict where people felt that I undermined them and threatened them. And this time, instead of me you know um letting someone go, I actually resigned myself. And then it was really hard. It was really hard because you built a team. However, there's one team person that had advised their company before this one, and I feel like to be a role model, where I support other people. I didn't want to damage someone's self-esteem by letting them go. So instead, I left instead. So I left like a team of about 6 people. It was really hard for me. So I did it, and I don't know whether it was the right decision or not, but I just feel like it was the best decision that I made, and um, so I left that, and yeah, and started a new company called Definity. And I really really save space for the team. Of course, I love working with the people who I work with, and I'm fully supportive of them. So a lot of people, some of the people came back, so we're kind of working with a lot of people that I've known already, so which is awesome. um so one of the things that we learned when we're making the concert metaverse is, what am I supposed to do when I'm inside the metaverse? So we have concerts, and we have NFTs, but people still ask us, what am I supposed to do, right? So, one of the things I learned is, we need interaction. So that's why that's one of the reason Definity is focused on gaming. I'm not new to gaming. I actually created one of the app on the iPhone that is topped 100, and I've made also augmented reality games that have gone viral. So I'm actually, I play games. I go to Dave and Buster's, and I'm really good with driving games and some other things. So then that's why Definity focuses on gaming, right? And then another thing is, how come my friends couldn't come in with me, right? And I think I spoke a little about the Marshmallow concert in 2019, how there's 11 million people. There has to be 100,000 metaverses, and 100 people could get into one. We still couldn't get into these metaverses today. There's still computation challenges. They're still very centralized, as I said. If you wanted to buy land at Decentraland, or I sometimes I use spatial, but sometimes the servers go down. There's gatekeepers in some of them. Outspace XR is still owned by Microsoft and some of these Web2 companies that might be so friendly to certain people, right? There's lack of inclusivity. So when you're talking about virtual land, even today, how many women and people of color, how many of us could actually purchase these land? Remember that we have been traditionally discriminated against systematically. We don't really make the same money, as a as a normal human being, right here in the U.S. So our pay is very different traditionally already, or historically already. So in Web3, not everyone is paid the same. So how could we actually generate wealth so that we can, purchase virtual land, right? Which might have value in the future. So those are some of the challenges that are really facing metaverses today. And we really think about it, all the items and all the so I teach as AP history sometimes, and really think about all the things that the people, our people, and that includes everyone, right, have gone through today. There's a divide. Should land be owned by a certain race, just all of a certain race, or should it be inclusive? Should it be mixed, right? So and what happens if there's redlining and some of the property challenges that certain laws are trying to correct? So I kind of want us women to really think about all the things that happen to us in real life, and and think about how we can correct them in Web3, because if we don't do that, it's going to be too late. um then avatar is going to be a really big item in the metaverse. So I think avatar is going to be an extended presence of ourselves, right? This is one of the meta woman avatar that I've created, NFT. And when I'm making them, I actually want all the woman. It's actually called Meta Woman. You can find them on OpenSea. I was just thinking about just creating different representation of human beings, that are diverse. Um, and we wanted to see diverse avatars everywhere, not just of apes and cats and dogs, because these are the more serious thing that could shape and impact us, not something cool. So, oh yeah, these avatars actually are 3D, and you can I was actually thinking about putting AI in them so they can talk and everything else. But anyway, so you really think about creating your own, avatars that represents you as a woman, as for the woman as well. I think my handle, artist handle, is Big Goddesses. And I did that mainly because I, as an entrepreneur, I've seen a lot of limitations toward women, and I think that's why I name it Big Goddesses. It's purposely and deliberately plural to represent all the women in the world, because if you're Han Solo, you won't really make a difference. But I think women collectively, even though sometimes we hate each other and we're competitive against each other, like, if you really take all the differences aside, we need to be together so that we can shape change, or else it won't happen. So anyways, this is, really think about creating your own avatar, and just be everywhere, because that's going to be important. And I really think about, really the future of gaming. It will be pseudonymous. It's not going to be tied to identity, but yet it will be identity, right? Because you're going to have a paradox of KYC probably in the future, but you can have, your identity, and then certain things, you can be a little bit anonymous, right? Because remember, of, you know, you remember the credit scores, and a lot of, like, financial institutions that don't allow certain people to do financial activities, because of the credits and things that define us, um, without context, right? And Web3 basically allows you access to certain financial instruments, regardless of those scores right now. And so really think about that. Think about interoperability, so you can basically bring your heels and shoes into different metaverses, or your bags, things that you own and have. Hopefully you can also share that with your friends and have that kind of community as well. The future will be co-owned, value based, and also self-owned, right? I think it's really important that we take care of ourselves as a woman, um, financially, as well as emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and also physically, biologically, right? And to really have that strength. So when we have that strength, we can also help other women, our family, and our community, and co-own things and co-create things with them. It's going to be value based. Just kind of realize that we women has value. We provide and we give, right? And we should be compensated according to our value. And we should not let other people define that. And if there's any issues, I mean, we have so many projects that we can co-create, right? Because of DAOs and everything, that we can kind of leave projects that undervalue us. I think that's one of the beauty of Web3. So if you guys, feel like victimized, and there's people that are taking advantage of us, there's a bunch of DAOs that we can join, and we can co-create, and we can be compensated based on that value. Always remember that. The contribution will be open to everyone, individuals as well as enterprises. So there's going to be tons of opportunities for us to participate and compensate and compensated and be shared upon. So I'm really excited about that part, right? I think, if all of us walk together, I think there's going to be a bunch of opportunity for everyone. And then really think about our experiences in the metaverse. When I talk about experiences, there's going to be hate, in the metaverse. There's going to be, beauty, and there's going to be love, there's going to be friendships and shared experiences. So really think about that. Think about, DAOs. Like we can form decentralized autonomous organizations in the metaverse. And if you're into policy or law, and have work in a corporate, environment, and really love community, really think about, how you will help shape DAOs, right? Because the standards are really new. We're still defining definitions and how they look like, in the near future. All the DAOs that you see are just smart contracts based. However, DAOs need to, because there's human nature involved, it still needs a lot of work to actually make it more to incorporate the ethos of Web3, because currently there's no, like, they're not really true DAOs yet. And then there's dimensional in terms of, I think metaverses are very dynamic. It could be anything you want. We wanted to create spaces in the metaverse, that are inclusive, that are friendly, who, that doesn't abuse people. And so we need to make sure that we are aware of the environment that we're in, so that, as a woman, we don't want to be harassed, right? Like I play archery AR at, a game conference all the time. It's still not, it doesn't have that weight element yet. But, like some women have played that game and they've been harassed. So I mean, when they go to the metaverse, so I just want to make sure that in the virtual space as well as physical, that you're more aware of your environment. Bragging rights is, when you have an ape, you can brag that, oh, I have an ape. I'm not really into material stuff to brag, but I think, kind of whatever that you're into, just kind of know that the divide, might be, it could be, bigger in the future if you don't really shape this today. So kind of be more conscious of that. And then also metaverse. So then I spoke about a little bit multiverse. I think in the future it's not just going to be a metaverse, it's going to be a multiverse. In the future, I think games will become financial. I think it's really time to participate in a DeFi, and even though this is not legal investing or tax advice, to really learn about lending, borrowing, anything of the DeFi stuff, because it's just like money Legos. Metaverse gaming will be tied to financial, so games will become money. It will become financial. Decentralized exchanges will still play a big role in gaming and metaverses. You still wanted to learn about, to actually play with decentralized exchanges, learn how to swap, and learn how to manage your asset. Learn about, how to have liquidity, learn how to protect and secure your digital assets. That's going to be super super important, because you want financial freedom. And then governance. I think DAOs, I spoke about DAOs, how these DAOs will be on chain. That you have governance token. For example, if you buy, a certain token, those are governance tokens. So, as a woman, NFT gaming and metaverses, kind of really think about getting some of these tokens so that you can vote and participate in some of these ecosystems. Here's a big picture of the metaverse ecosystem. You'll see a lot of brands entering into space. It's actually quite big. Whatever that you have that is new, you can still kind of participate in that. And this is actually a slide of, one of my friend. He learned about NFTs by going to the metaverses. So I kind of like that slide. He basically says that, he that by participating and going to the metaverse like every Saturday, he was able to learn about NFTs and to actually have a community. So that's pretty awesome. If you have any questions, my Twitter is Salute Michelle, and I have a show called Laptop Radio that I talk about crypto since 2017. You guys can always find me there. And also, I think the company, you can also go to Dfinity Linktree, or Big Goddesses, and you can find us there. We also have a Discord channel. Um, at for Dfinity, we are actually hosting some events or co-hosting some events, and participating in a few NFT that we can showcase the art for different artists in the community. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you very much for presenting that. That was thorough and really great presentation. Thank you very much. Um, yeah. So I know you spoke a lot about the how we can create the metaverse. For you personally, like, what are you looking forward to in these metaverses that are being created? What is your visual of the ideal world?
Yeah, so I mean, it would be like it would just be, like I'm a little bit more of a romantic, right? Very idealistic. So I think of waterfalls and butterflies and lush trees and just different people with different, globally, interacting, sharing stories and ideas, almost like camping. Because then when we share stories and share our dreams, that's when things happened. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice, nice. Now, I'm curious about your take. As you know, when people are building these metaverse, there's like the centralized version, which is currently out here.
Uh-huh.
There's places like, Altspace, etc. And then there's the decentralized version that's being created. Which one is your preference?
I actually think that NFT platforms should be peer to peer, and I think metaverses should be peer to peer. Ideally, um, we can buy NFTs from each other without these platforms, because they're still gatekeepers. They are just like Web2 platforms where crypto and NFT tokens. Nothing
Mhm.
has changed. In fact, they don't even have like the right. They're like startups, that don't have the protection and the rights as big companies yet, right? So I'm looking forward to decentralized NFT platforms. I'm, in that same way, I'm looking for decentralized metaverses,
Mhm.
where Zinka, you can have your metaverse, I'll have mine. We're connected to each other, right? So it's a multiverse,
Mhm.
and I'm connected to you, and I can kind of go there and hang out with you. If you're there, check out what you have, check out your
Yeah.
art, check out your music and voices, in a more 3D dimensional kind of way. That is my vision. My vision is not, and there's no privacy, right? We control our privacy. It will
Mhm.
not be like Facebook, where one person basically owns all our data and our global consciousness, right? I
Yeah.
want my consciousness to be owned by me and yours to be owned by you, and you can control what you wanted to share with me. And that way we have self-empowerment, and we have also that global and shared empowerment.
I love it. You're saying all the right things, and that's the world that I'm looking to experience as well. Um, I appreciate knowing you, and you're so involved in so many different things, and I know you've been traveling as well. And I I I want to get your take on what you're seeing that's out there, right? In these conferences, are you seeing that women are participating a lot more in IRL when they attend these conferences? What are you seeing, and what needs to be improved on?
Yeah, I think there needs to be more women. A lot of the conferences are super expensive, right? Like, like if you add hotels and then also airfare, you're paying like a couple $1,000 to go to a conference. Like that, which nobody really talks about. And like I think only consensus, would give a discount to women, right?
Mhm.
So I think things are still the same. People are just hustling and grinding. They kind of forget, right? A lot of a lot of the speaking slots are paid in these big conferences. There's not a lot of women there. I mean, there are maybe one or two. There's token woman, right? But I think it needs to be normalized. It needs to be normal, and if you're a woman out there, like if there's a speaking opportunity, invite other women.
Yes.
There's really no need to compete. I think it's just kind of like what you're doing, Yinka, is really important. Because it kind of brings us together, and we kind of see our strengths and weaknesses because nobody's going to be perfect.
Mm.
And it's only when we kind of become self-aware and know what our weaknesses are, we can kind of see other people's strength and how they could kind of complement us, right? So when you go to these conferences, and when there's no woman there, like meet up with other women,
Mm.
and talk, right? Because and a lot of people, a lot of women wanted to build companies, but they might not have the resources to, they might not have the know-how. So if you do know something, if you have a contact, help. I think that's kind of important, right? I mean, I think at some stage we need to create our own decentralized conferences and community, and not rely on, I mean, those are just making money, right? I mean, I like for our, our mermaids has traveled around the world, and we're really grateful for people inviting us to these things. And I tried to have NFT, like, to be more inclusive when we have art NFT art exhibit. Like, even though sometimes it's a lot of work to actually put everything together,
Mm.
I just wanted people have to have that visibility, right? I mean, that's just not just for women in the United States, but women globally. I've met people who don't have laptops, to code or even do stuff. So because computers are really expensive, the
Mm.
parts of the world. So to really connect worldwide, with all the women, I think that's going to be, super awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. Same here. And we're doing it, as best as we can virtually right now. But hopefully one of these days we'll be able to have like a virtual, a metaverse, of all of us in one space and being able to participate in networking, communicate that way. But I do want to thank you very much, Michelle. Really appreciate you jumping in. I know this is a difficult time for you, but I do appreciate you jumping on and giving us this wonderful presentation. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we're going to go to a 2-minute break, and then we'll be right back with another one of our speaker. And today we actually are going to go over because we have 2 more wonderful speakers to present to you. So bear with us. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, so this next artist, I am excited to present to you because she has been doing something that's wonderful under the sea, which is fantastic. So this is really cool. We have Kelly. Kelly, will you come up? Kelly is joining us all the way from Hawaii. Hi, Kelly. How are you?
Hi there, aloha. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Oh,
Good morning. I
wonderful.
know
Thank you so
it's
much,
really
Inga. It was
early.
lovely to hear Michelle as well. I know
Yes.
Michelle.
I'm glad that both of you ladies were able to join this morning because I know it's really early for both of you, especially you, since you're all the way in Hawaii. I'm going to leave the stage and let you introduce yourself, and then we'll bring up your video.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. Yes, it is very early. It's still pitch black here in Hawaii. Very grateful for this chance to share. My name is Kelly Shao. I'm an underwater photographer based on Maui. And let's see, a little bit about myself. Well, I feel like my mission in the world is really to help bring a sense of self-worth and to help inspire, people to follow their own paths. And it's important to me because I think it's something that I've struggled with my life, being an artist in my family, being Asian female. I'm Generation X, so wasn't the easiest thing to be a creative. So I've had to struggle and kind of push through. And the NFT space entering last year, I think it's been great. It's been such a game changer, and I think people are starting to really value, see what artists are bringing to this world. So I've been really excited to be in the space since about April, May of last year. And I just want to share that this video presentation, it's a collaboration between my friend Amber Herzog-Lyman. She's a spoken word poet, and it's between her poetry and a series of photography that I've done the past year or so in 2021. So I'd love to share that with you, just to give a breath of my work a little bit. So you can start that whenever you'd like to. If you have any questions, feel free.
Wings to Fly, written and read by Amber Herzog-Lyman. What if your voice grows wings, hard-won feathers of confidence and subtle context? It takes to the sky lifted high on passion and purpose, just living to land in those uncertain places where it can shake the foundations, where it can shape the future, where it can set you free from your confusion and collapse and call you right back into your own heart. Call you home to that space of infinite potential and quiet confidence where I know, where you feel that you and me and we are a living woven tapestry, our lives stretched wide, here between heaven and earth, between sea and sky, here between sunlight and moonrise where we feel held, at home, resting in these green vines where we can see in each other's eyes the light of divinity and believe in each other. Be with each other, even in our moments of failure and frustration and feeling like there is no way out of this self-doubt. Then we can look across at one another and see the possibilities. That light in the eyes, sometimes dim, sometimes bright. We know when you are getting stacked for a comeback. We can see it swinging soft as we cycle around each other with a certain gravity. We lift each other. We pull each other in that flow that is all part of being human, spun low and high by all our complex ties. But now it is different because your voice has its own wings. It is the rope you can throw to climb up and out of that dark hole, right back up towards your higher soul. And I see all those feathers that make you shine, because my voice has wings too. And these wings carry belief in you. And when you let that little bird of belief land there in your hand, hear it then sing its way close into your heart and feel the future of opening to new things with your own wings. Just wait and see how we can fly.
Wow, Kelly. Wow. Oh my. That video, the poetry was very powerful. I love the visual that you gave us for that poetry. Wow. I mean, wow. So now tell us about your background. Are you an underwater acrobatic swimmer? Like, how did you even come up with this concept?
Oh, that's really funny. Gosh, okay, my background, well, I was on the swim team in high school. My background is in the fine art photography field. I studied in New York at Pratt Institute. It took me a long time to put these two together. It wasn't until 2010 that I got a job in the Philippines, and they had an underwater studio there, and I saw that you could photograph humans underwater, and that was mind-blowing to me. Not just marine life, but you could photograph humans and fashion, and that kind of put the seed in my head. And I had gotten that job as a result of burnout. I was really burnt out at my studio, and I was, just put it out there to the universe, like, please give me a job, take me away. Like, I want something else. And the universe handed me this opportunity. So sometimes I feel like it's from our darkest moments that, light shines in and leads us to where we should be going.
Wow. I mean, I'm glad that it led you here because this was fantastic. Um, you are bringing something different to this NFT space, and it's very commendable of you. And just like there's an image there that almost looked like a fish, right? It's the one where you're in the white dress and you have like the fans, at least what I consider to be like a fan,
Oh,
in both
yes, yes.
hands. Yeah. I had to look
Yeah.
hard at it, like, oh my God, that was fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I often work with dancers. That was a wonderful dancer, and I had her bring her fans, and we actually lost those fans. I feel really bad about that. I did compensate her for those fans. Because it is very
Wow.
difficult. So what's special about that whole piece was everything was shot in the ocean, and
Mm,
we're dealing with currents and lots of things. But yeah, I think my happy place of creation is between, there's an element of fashion, of art, and performance art, and of course
mm,
the aquatic performance. So that's where I love to be. And it's creating from such a place where you really have to let go and be comfortable with uncertainty, because you
mm.
never know what you're going to get. Quite
No, that
honestly.
is so true. That is because I'm just imagining what it takes to even do that, and how many takes, how many shoots. Are you getting all of these at once, or do you have to do it several times?
Well, I feel like I always get something from every shoot. I think this was maybe 4 or 5 different shoots. I feel like I always get something, but with underwater photography, it's certainly you get a lot less percentage than with land photography. We're holding our breath. I don't use any breathing apparatus, so I'm free diving with the models.
Wow.
We're lucky that Hawaii has pretty warm water, but there's but there's definitely times when conditions can be rough. So it's a pleasure, but it's also rigorous.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Wow. So, I guess the next question is, how long can you hold your breath?
Oh, actually, I don't think I can hold my breath that long. My static time, which is on land, has been like 2.5 minutes. In the water, maybe like a minute or so is quite a long time. I'm not like a very long breath holder, and we tend to do sequences of about, like, 15, maybe 30 seconds. So I think the model definitely has a lot more, yeah, it's a lot demanding because I'm more or less trying to keep still with my camera, but the model definitely with movement. And the key is to be very slow underwater, to be as slow as possible.
Nice, nice. Man, these are fantastic. So, where can people go to look at more of your work?
Well, my website is cseaalchemy.com, calchemy.com, and my Twitter is, what is my Twitter? C Alchemy Art, Twitter, C Alchemy Art. Sorry, it's still early for me.
It's all good. It's all good. Understand. So we put sealchemy.com up there. Now, this has been fantastic. Don't want to take too much of your time. I know it's very, very early over there, but I do appreciate you joining us and giving us some great visuals to look at and some things to consider and know about now in the NFT space. So thank you very much. Wonderful poetry, too. That was fantastic.
So kind of you, Yinka. Really appreciate you giving me the space today. Thank you so much.
No problem, Kelly. Thank you for joining us. All right. Man, that was fantastic, man. I couldn't stop just looking at every image. I love the red one. I love the blue one, the white one. I mean, it was just, well, it blew my mind. And yeah, you guys will be seeing some of those on Twitter. So as we recap, this event today, so I'm really excited. Yeah, so let's go ahead and transition to our next speaker. You guys have already seen her, you know her, and so I'm excited to bring up Miss Nicole Maxwell. Come on, Nicole. Hey, Nicole.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Well, I am excited for you to formally introduce all of your artwork to us. I know you took us through some journeys and we got some metaverse introduction to some of them. And I can't wait for you to tell your story and as well as, present all of your work to us and what went into creating this. So I will leave the stage and let you continue. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Right on. Thank you. So I am Nicole Maxwell, and if you haven't been tuning in, if you have been tuning in, thank you. And if you haven't tuned in on Fridays, then you probably haven't seen me, but I am here every single day. I am a part of the production team, and I'm running things behind the scenes. So I'm not up on stage as much, but I do a whole lot of stuff in this space. I'm not going to spend time talking about that. I am just going to show it instead. Most of what I do is in the metaverse and very much dedicated to making sure that people understand the power of a decentralized metaverse and what it can do for you and your business, implementation, and kind of evaluating the best metaverse for you is extremely important. So that's what I do. But being in the space is contagious. And so when it comes to NFTs, I am somebody who was trying to find where I fit in, right? When it comes to NFTs, I have supported people, have been a part of some projects, even some of those that you've seen on this very stage, and building up the community, making sure that, things were going right behind the scenes. And making connections for people through my business technical consulting, through my group, Blackverse, and building up several other very well-known communities in this space. But when it comes to NFTs, I've always felt like that's where I should be, is on the side. It has taken me a minute to kind of embrace artwork, because I am not an artist or not a traditional artist. So before the NFT space, I wasn't out here making art and selling it. I was not a starting artist. I was a techie. I still am. And so it took me being able to find the technology that resonated with me in order to bring out that tech side through artwork. So earlier we did mention this, but there is something called GAN and generative art. And so that's where I find that I found my me here in this space. And it essentially is using your words to create art. So my art galleries you will find on everywhere as Gallery O Thought. So if you're looking on OpenSea, it's Gallery O Thought. and you'll see me, you'll see my little face up there. And so, talk about doxing, that's real. So, I started my journey with NFTs as something that I love, which is domaining. If you were watching last Friday, you saw that the ladies of domaining were some very close friends of mine. I am a domainer myself, a domain investor myself. And so I have this whole catalog of domains. And so for a very long time, it was just, oh, well, you're going to supply the world with domains and you'll do it in a cool way. So that's what I'm going to start off showing you. We're actually going to go through my whole catalog. So I just want to be able to display this. This is kind of the one time when I actually do this. If anybody here knows me, you know that me shilling is not my forte. I like to do it for other people instead of myself. So this is my gallery of thought. I did join OpenSea in 2021, August of 2021. And if you scroll through, you'll see some of my various little things that I've done out here. And I'm going to walk you through that journey. It started with my domains. And so I have a domain collection that is called It Can Be Your Domains. There's only a few out here, but I really wanted to do something different to sell my domains. And so most people, you get a domain name and it has this blue background from Unstoppable Domains or .eth. Your .ens domain will have something very plain. But to me, it was like, yo, why are we doing that? Because we're talking about NFTs. So let's do something that's a little bit more creative. So I utilized technology again to animate this character. This domain is called blacktrends.live. And, as the owner, I've said that you can be the owner of this NFT and the website domain, blacktrends.live. This domain comes with an unlockable access to the transfer code to accept ownership of it. I also include instructions. So this was my very first domain, my very first domain NFT that I put out here. And it was on sale. I think it dropped off when OpenSea did that whole thing they did a couple months ago. But I have a few others that I'm also really proud of. MetaRelationships.io, MetaCheaters.com, Black Meta Summit was something I purchased several months last year. And since then, this is actually one that I will not be using, but it is a collection of summit domains for Black folks that I acquired because my full intention was to have a series of conferences surrounding this, and someone stole that idea from me. So it is now something that just sits here in my OpenSea catalog. MetaCheaters.com, Techniverse is where we will actually be jumping into a little later today, and then MetaConflict.io, and I think that .co. And if you, there's a video that goes along with this one, but I didn't put that as the actual image here. It's an unlockable that is inside of this one as well. So I decided that, I wanted to be really creative and did some things like that. I also have utilized my words. So like I said, I created GAN art. I have several collections out here. I always say my voice is resting. But at the end of last year, so I have 9 collections total. And at the end of last year, I got really serious about creating art with my words. So what I did was I found a GAN art generator, and that is where you can speak to, you can type in words or speak them, and the computer will generate art based on what you tell it to. And so I came to a place where it was like, this just makes sense for me. Like, this is technology, and that's like the extension of me. Like, it makes sense. And this is how I am going to create art. So I started, I had all these feelings at the end of the year, and I said, this is perfect for me because I am going to take the way that I'm feeling about all of this stuff and mint it on the blockchain. And so I did that to close out last year. And then I did it again in the wee hours of New Year's Day. I minted what I wanted my year to represent. And so my goals, my ambitions, all of that are what you see in A Woman in the Verse, in Queen of the Verse, and in Blockchain Rain. Blockchain Rain is a collection I'm particularly proud of because it represents kind of the things that I feel like the blockchain does. Rain is cleansing. And so each image that is a part of this collection is all about cleansing, cleansing with the blockchain, like things that the blockchain can change. So whether it's breaking chains or starting new beginnings or flooding us with a sea of crypto, like these are all the things that I was thinking. And so that's what came out, these art generators. So in addition to that, this is one of my favorite ones, and it is called Bridge to Innovation. It's part of my Techno Future collection. But it is, if I just can read this really quickly, it'll say, I dream of the metaverse as a technical bridge to the future, a gateway to innovation. With the acquisition of this NFT, you receive a piece of me that was left in 2021. My thoughts expand on the evolution of what a technical future may be. Each one has so in this collection, each one has a simple description of what each piece meant to me at the time of creation, at the end of 2021, and then the other ones at the beginning of 2022. And becoming a collector means that you become a part of the technical future. You do have rights to derivatives. And corporate reuse is something that I would like for you to say, and just attribute me as the author of the NFT, but you can go ahead and do that. So I would say that when you are creating your artwork, even if it is GAN artwork, your signature matters. Making sure that you have the right to resell the artwork that's created matters. And then also giving away the proper licensing. If you don't want people to use your artwork, say so. If you don't want them to do derivatives and you're being serious about that, and for some reason you don't want them to do that, say so. But for me, I want you to be able to use it. I want you to be able to take me and send it out into the world. So go ahead. I am all for that. Some of these are not on sale and others are. I intend to fully add all of them to actually be on sale. I also created a bunch of NFTs for the International Women of Blockchain Conference. They are all over. So the very first one I'll get to in a minute, but this one was for our Mod Squad. So Mod Squad, if you're seeing this and you do not have your NFT, you should. It is an animated NFT that I created just for those moderators and the remaining hostesses who are a part of this team and, jive with me daily, whether that be good or bad. We talk about kind of what's going on and we fix it and make sure that all the ladies here are having a good experience. So I wanted them to have an NFT to show them that. Before we get there, I also created the Women of Blockchain NFT. This was the first one that was created, and it is still on sale. The auction is going to expire here on the 31st. But we have some time, so if you'd like to participate and snag a piece of me, you can do so in this way also. If you'll notice, the artwork here is a little bit different. This one is created with a different generator, but when Yinka and I were first talking about this, and she was telling me about this concept, I spoke the words International Women of Blockchain into the art generator, and this is what came out. And so then to me, I did an interpretation of what this looks like to me. And it is women who are struggling, we're persevering, and our tenacity, and it all showed up here within this image to me. And so that's what this meant for me to be able to put this out here. And then I think the other thing I wanted to say about NFTs in specific, without going into too many of my own, is that to me, it's important to be decentralized. So I'm all over the place. I've already showed you OpenSea. on OpenSea, I have Ethereum, I have Polygon, but I'm now displaying Solana. So on Solana, you can you can mint your own NFTs as well. There's many different marketplaces, but I also have work out on Tezos. So my preferred blockchain is Tezos. My preferred marketplace is actually Object, and one of the ones that I created out here is called the Voice of the. It's called The Voice of the Elephant is Wise, and it's an NFT that I created and then added some movement and visuals to, but it represents the spirits that rise when an elephant is speaking wisdom. And so that's what this scene depicted to me. That's what I put in, and that's what the computer generated out to me. So really cool things that you can do when you put technology together with your intelligence and your IP. Taking this a step further, I like to show people how to do things. And so one of the things that I have done is taken my NFTs and I've turned them into art galleries. So all the women who are here are actually going to get a complimentary tutorial on how to actually create an NFT art gallery using OnCyber. And how to connect your personal domain to that. So if you want to actually get in here and follow along, you can come to techniverse.xyz, and we'll put that in the chat here really quickly. And it is techniverse.xyz. So you can pop in here and you can explore this place that I've created that's full of my art and full of things that I own, and experience my Techniverse. So there is one of the first animated NFTs that I ever got. When you come up here, you can actually see that it is moving and it is alive. And the closer you get to it, you will receive, you will actually see that this NFT, you can click on it. And if you press E, it'll show you, this was actually sent to me by Mike Laurie Draw, and he gave this to me. This was one of the NFTs that I got when, I started meeting folks in the community. The community is amazing. And so they give away free things all the time just because they want you to own a piece of them. And so I have done the same with other folks. I run the club. I am the proud founder of the club, Blackverse. I created this as our initial logo. And so I made it as an NFT because why not? Some of my artwork is up on the walls as well. And so I think that it just gives your art a different flavor when you can actually see it on the walls of a gallery. And so when you're thinking about the difference between, how it looks on OpenSea and the way that I've presented it, you can certainly see that, you can create a experience for your community. And so give your artists, give your collectors something to look at and a different way to experience your art. And I think that it's pretty fun. So on this wall, like I said, I do this as a part of my business. So what I've shown is that you can set these up in different ways. I actually will do this as a part of business. So if you need this done and you're not the techie type person, this is something that I do actually do for people. And you can resize things. You can get kind of different dimensional with things, so you can move it across the 3D space. And that's what it's all about. Now, what you're seeing is actually a free art gallery. This doesn't cost any money to create. So there's no reason why you can't do this unless you need help actually putting it together, in which case I do offer that as a service. So that's one of the couple of different art galleries that I have. I wanted to quickly show the other one, which I set up, and I'm going to use the last 15 minutes to kind of discuss something that is really important to me, And you can find this one on my website at technical.com. And then it is in Indo Gallery. There we go. And so I struggle, and I struggle with endometriosis. And endometriosis is a thing that affects me. And I'm going to try to refresh this because it did not load. So hopefully my computer behaves here. All right. So this is my endometriosis gallery. My images are broken. Okay. Yeah, we're just gonna have to deal with it. But I do want to walk through this because I created an art gallery. Not all the images are broken. So I created an art gallery to kind of help people understand what endometriosis is. And so you can visit this art gallery. This is a spatial gallery. And when you go to spatial on your phone, it will take you to this space and allow you to navigate it. And you'll get to create your own avatar. And for whatever that's worth, I don't really like my avatar on spatial. I think that she's a little terrible, but we're going to deal with that anyway. I'm going to give the link in the chat. There we go. Okay. So it's technical.com/endogallery is how you will get there. And so you have a avatar. This avatar has the ability to move. And so, you know, we talk about differences in avatars and kind of what these avatars can look like. I created an experience for people to understand endometriosis. And so you start here. And I'm just going to kind of show this at an angle, I think, as much as I'm able to. There we go. All right. So endometriosis is chronic. It's painful. It's common. It's more common than you think. It is debilitating. Endometriosis is embarrassing. It is uncomfortable. It is costly. It hits you. It's costly because it can cost you your finances, your education, and your career, your family, and personal relationships, and it is medically expensive. Endometriosis is a condition where the tissue develops that looks and acts like normal endometrial tissue, the tissue that lines your uterus, but it develops outside of the uterus. This tissue can grow on other reproductive organs outside or inside the pelvis or in the abdomen. Because the tissue acts like normal uterine tissue, it breaks down and sheds in the pelvis during your menstrual cycle. This can lead to inflammation, swelling, and scarring of normal tissue. And so it is extremely painful. Your symptoms, how do you know if you have endometriosis? Or you could potentially have endometriosis? You have painful intercourse. You can have excessive clotting, heavy, unbearable menstrual flow. You can have pain during your periods, and you can also have pain when you are not on your period. So it can be pain in your stomach, your back, your legs, your head, or your abdomen. And you can also have mood swings, hormonal imbalances, and also fatigue. Cramps are a common sign of endometriosis, and it can also be the cause, or a symptom of this can also be infertility, miscarriages, unable to carry to term, and unable to conceive. What are the stages of endometriosis? You have stage 1. So they assign your endometriosis by stages. So you have stage 1, which is 1 to 5 points. You have minimal superficial and very few superficial implants. If you can see here, like you'll see the little dots, that is representative of endometriosis. it is outside of where it should be. Number two, it's mild, and you get more and deeper implants of this tissue that should not be here. So you can see that here. There's some in the ovaries and the fallopian tubes. And then stage three is moderate. There's many deep implants. There can be small cysts on one or both ovaries. And then there is the presence of filmy adhesions. Stage three is assigned 16 to 40 points. And then anything over 40 points is known as stage four, which is severe. There will be many deep implants, large cysts on one or both ovaries, and many dense adhesions. And so now we're going to go to the other side of this, which is what can you do? So treatment. This is diagnosed with surgery and only with surgery. So anything else is a guess, right? You can have surgery, and if you have surgery, they find it, they can laser it off. There's also birth control. You can seek out serenity and exercise. There is a myth out there, or, some people actually this works for, so I can't say it's a myth, but some people say that having a baby is the key to freedom, while others who have this have babies and are still having issues. So during and after pregnancy, they still have the pain and things like that. And then you can also, find your own remedies. For me, green tea is nice. It doesn't fix it, but it definitely helps. So just to understand what we're dealing with, up to 10% of women may have endometriosis. This not only affects women, but also men. And so who suffers from endometriosis? This is actually a moving thing here. It should be moving. It should move automatically. It didn't. This, who suffers from endometriosis? That's the question. Tia Mowry is one of the celebrities that suffers from endometriosis. I myself am in this hallway. Your mothers, your sisters, your friends, people may be suffering with this and may not have told you. The girl next door might be suffering. Gabrielle Union suffers from endometriosis. And, there's a whole host of other women. And I was actually hit with endometriosis when I was trying to get this gallery up. So I did not get a chance to finish off that side of the hallway. But there's women like Susan Sarandon, Julianne Hough, there are Oprah Winfrey. There are a lot of women who are out here, and you would never really know that they're suffering, but they are. And so somewhere around here, I have my, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. So why do you see these shamrocks? Well, so the broken images are all my shamrocks, but those are actually NFTs from OpenSea. So the She Shamrocks are a collection that I created for a couple of things. So why am I telling you this right now? So this gallery is an NFT gallery, but it's also meant to inform. The She Shamrocks are a collection, an NFT collection that I did. It is out and available on OpenSea. And I've done that because of a few things. So during the course of this conference, you've not seen me, but I have been here every single day. And when you have seen me, there have been times when I've actually been suffering. And you don't know it because my face doesn't show it, because I have this smile on my face and I'm on screen. And that isn't always representative of how I actually feel. So a couple days last week, I wasn't here. And so it was because I was at home and I was suffering with this endometriosis. So it is also Endometriosis Awareness Month. If you were here at the beginning of the month when you heard from Blue and she was talking about women and our cycles and how she's using NFTs to bring light to women and our struggles, I got on stage and I asked her, I said, did you know that, not only is this Women's History Month, it is also Endometriosis Awareness Month? And she said, no. And I thought about that and I said, well, nobody ever seems to know that it's Endometriosis Awareness Month. So I wanted to take the time, and yes, we are overextended on time, and that's okay. I wanted to take the time because people don't know. We sit here as women and we suffer in silence, and we put on these faces, and sometimes we're grouchy. The list of women that I have that are celebrities, one common thread amongst a lot of them is that they get labeled as a bitch. Excuse me. But there are people who are notoriously hard to work with. If you think about all the things that I just said, this is an illness. It is bigger than just having a painful period. It impacts our lives. Last week I was weak. There were times when I couldn't move. I was in my apartment screaming. So there is a lot that we're dealing with. There's a lot on our shoulders, and it's not just us. There's a lot of other women out here that are suffering with this, and they don't even know they have it. I'm lucky because I know that I have it. I know that it's time for surgery, and I need to go ahead and get that done. But that is, kind of something that at least I know what to do to get relief. My She Shamrocks were created as a project to celebrate my birthday, which is in March, and my favorite color, which is green, and the fact that it's Women's History Month. But as I was putting up my NFTs onto OpenSea, I did all of them manually. I was hit with a bout of endometriosis, and I'm not even supposed to be having this issue anymore. And I couldn't finish. And so while I was doing it, I'm like, why does this consistently happen in life? And so I had forgotten I have endometriosis, like it's a thing. It comes and it goes for me. Other women are consistently having to deal with this. And so I turned my project into a project that is not only about me and my favorite color and me being a woman, but is also for endometriosis. So I have She Shamrocks, and I created all these shamrocks, and each one has a name. And she dons a green hat or a green face to make herself ready for St. Patrick's Day. But she is also a woman suffering with endometriosis. She is named, and she's putting on a great front while she's suffering with her silent attacker. She is available on OpenSea, and on each of these, when you load it on your side, you'll be able to see that the NFTs are here, and they're available out on OpenSea. And some of them showed up, some of them didn't. And I think it's the ones with the higher graphics that are just not loading right now, and that's okay. Some of these do have animations, like this one. If you click on it, you'll see that she is our decentralized friend here. And, we can click on details, and her name is Quinn. And when you click on her, she'll come out to you here on OpenSea. So this is Quinn. She's a part of my collection. She is owned by me. She's a She Shamrock out here on OpenSea, and you can see her. And then, others, like this is our blockchain babe here. She is definitely representative of her community. And they all, are a little different. And so, so I think that it's important that you provide an experience for people, and that you use the technology that's out here and available to you if you can. And, there's no reason why you can't, because you got friends like me in this space that can help you do that. But you can do this yourself as well. So there's no reason that you can't provide a good experience for your friends and your community, and folks, as you're building things up. All of these would be great if they could load, and unfortunately they are not. But I wanted to bring awareness and shed light to endometriosis, because it is bigger than just painful periods, and this is actually one of my favorite ones. But that is what I'm doing these days. So We are in the world of the metaverse, and the metaverse is going to allow us to bring light to a lot of different things and allow us to shed light in different ways. Yesterday in Blackverse, we also talked about traumatic brain injuries because it is also Traumatic Brain Injury Month. March is packed full of different awareness opportunities. So if you are not aware of certain things, it is time that you become aware. And now we can spread that awareness and give people a visual depiction of what's happening to us in our spaces. So I want to thank Ika for this opportunity to be able to share myself and my artwork and some of the things that I'm out here doing. I am always looking for ways to be creative with technology. So if you know something new, let me know. And yeah, so that's what we're doing these days. You can find She Shamrocks out on OpenSea under She Shamrocks. Oops. Sorry, I hit the wrong one. So yeah, thank you.
No, thank you, Nicole. Thank you, because I know to be that vulnerable, right? It takes a minute, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and letting us get an insight into you. I hope today is one of those better days for you as well.
It is. It is. Today I'm feeling just fine, and so thank you. I'm feeling just fine, and you know it's just it has its moments where it's just I can't talk, so we're gonna go ahead and go on. But yeah, I'm not the only one out here, and thankfully Sunday we were able to do a room in Blackverse that is the first time I've ever talked about this in that way. This is the second time, and so maybe we're starting a trend here. Endometriosis Awareness Month is happening all throughout the month of March. I'm going to tweet this out, so if you enjoyed this presentation or you resonate with it in some way, please retweet it to your audiences, even if we're outside of March. People just need to know that there's a space you can go to help you understand what this is and what it can do. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. And I love your gallery. So the endo gallery that you created, you created the gallery. I don't think I've seen
No,
any platform like that.
no, actually, it's
Okay.
spatial.io, and so there's so many different galleries out here that have free templates available for you. All you got to do is put the content in and kind of arrange it the way that you want it. And so I arranged, where the pictures would be. I arranged where, my NFT would show up versus information. You can put in all sorts of different things here. Like I have a trash can that's in there that's not native to the space. And I was thinking about doing something there, but I didn't. That arrow that you saw at the beginning that kind of was directing you where to go, that is me. But there's some, like, you can create 3D things and put them into these galleries. Like I've seen little robots that are dancing and moving in some spaces. Like you have all these different options. So they have probably, I want to say it's under 10. So I would say around 6 different free templates that you can choose from. And then you can use that to create the experience you want. And not all of them are art. So if you just wanted to, have a place to hang out for you and your crew, you can do that too. So, get your little mini metaverse on. I definitely recommend that.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I think that was a fantastic end to our last NFT Tuesday. Thank you all for joining us. We got 2 more days left. We have Worldwide Wednesday tomorrow, where you will tap in and meet more women in this space who are building and creating, as well as educating and onboarding more people into this space. So we want you to tap in because it's going to be really interesting. And we also have 2 recruiters coming who's going to tell you about, jobs in this space and what to expect about being involved in that aspect. And then, on Thursday, we will do our closing ceremony. We do have one more project to introduce y'all to. And then we also have a very special surprise as well. So you guys will be able to tap into a whole lot of stuff 2 more days, 2 more impactful content. We want y'all to join us, connect with us, and see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day. Bye, everyone.
Bye, y'all. Where'd it go?